Great, we're live on Facebook.
Okay, great. Why don't we go ahead and get started? Good evening and welcome to the March 23rd meeting of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. My name is Honey Mahogany and I'm chair of the SF Democratic Party, and I'm calling this meeting to order. Welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a month since many of us have seen each other. Tonight, we do have a number of resolutions to consider, as well as endorsements to get through. And quite a few people, I believe, have signed up for public comment. So just to make sure that we're able to hear from everyone, we're gonna keep public comment to 1 minute. But before we go to public comment, we do have a few items to get through, including roll call. Member Lee, who is our recording secretary, did let me know that she's going to be 10 minutes late. So our executive director, Moises Garcia, has offered to do the roll call in her stead. Director Garcia, are you ready?
Ready.
All right.
Member Avalos.
Here.
Member Baraka. Vice Chair
Here
Baraka.
for now.
Great. Member Barry.
Present.
Member Campos.
Present by proxy.
Thank you. Member Chen.
Present by proxy.
Thank you. Member Defty.
I believe I'm also serving as his proxy, but I thought he would be here for the first hour, but I'm also his proxy.
Okay, great. Thank you, Chanel. Member Galata, Vice Chair Galata.
Present.
Member Haney. Member Ibanez.
Present.
Member Kim. Present. Member Lacroix.
Present.
Thank you. Member Lee. She'll be here later. Member Loftus is excused. Member Lovett.
Present.
Chair Mahogany.
Here.
Member Mandelman.
Present by proxy.
Member Marr.
Present.
Member Maliga. Member Morales.
Present by proxy.
Thank you. Member Raju.
Here by proxy.
Member Ronan.
Present by proxy.
Member Thomas.
Present.
Member Tung.
Present.
Member Williams.
Present.
Member Feinstein.
Here by proxy. Proxy.
Thank you.
Did you hear that?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Member Kounalakis. Come back to that. Member Ma. Member Cohen.
Proxy.
Thank you. Member Weiner.
Present by proxy.
Great. And Member Ting is excused. I'm going to go back. Member Haney.
Both Member Moliga and Member Haney reached out and said they would be late.
Okay, great.
So excused.
Member Kim. Nope. Member Lee will be late. Member Maliga.
Member Moliga is also going to be late.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you for that. Great. Member Ma. All right, absent. At this moment, you have 26 members present and 4 excused.
Great, we have quorum, so we can go on with our meeting. Our next item is approval of the meeting agenda. So if we can, colleagues, I know that we have potentially a few amendments to the agenda. I did submit actually 3 resolutions that are time sensitive on the 72-hour notice, and I'm hoping that we can first, before we do anything else, amend have a motion to amend the agenda to include these resolutions, just so we can put that into the record orally. The first one is a resolution in opposition to AB 2808, which is prohibiting the use of ranked choice voting in the state of California. So if this passes on the state level, it would prohibit any other local municipality from being able to use ranked choice voting like San Francisco, where we already use ranked choice voting. So I'd like to add that. And then there are two other resolutions. One is a resolution in support of San Francisco Unified School District educators. As many of you know, there was several demonstrations due to teachers in SFUSD not being paid. Some of that has been resolved, but this resolution is supporting and encouraging SFUSD to make sure that those teachers do get paid in a timely manner. And then the final resolution that I would like to add at this time is in support of Staff Up SF. Right now, as we know, our city workers are in negotiations with the city of San Francisco and asking that all currently funded positions be filled. There is a huge shortage in the amount of workers in various departments that has become very taxing on the city and inhibited us from being able to serve our community in the way that it should. So I'm putting forward these resolutions. They are urgent, and can we have a motion? I know that there may be other amendments, and I see some hand, Member Williams, your hand. I know that you have something to add, but if we can just get a motion on these amendments first, and then we can go to you. Member Thomas?
Motion to add items 15, 16, and 17 to the agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
Colleagues, would it be okay if we took that amendment without objection? Okay, without objection, these amendments are added to the agenda. Before we approve the amended agenda, Member Williams, I believe you have a comment you'd like to make.
Yes, thank you, Chair Mahogany. I did submit a resolution for consideration that relates to item 13. Unfortunately, it was not on the 72-hour agenda, but I will be submitting my resolution for new business at our next meeting in April. I just hope that when you're considering item 18, that you review the resolution and the documentation I submitted, and just thank you, all of my colleagues. So thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Member Williams. So with that, can we have a motion to approve the agenda as amended?
So moved.
So moved.
Member
Second.
Galata, and seconded by Member Avalos, I believe. Can we take this item without objection? All right, without objection, the motion passes and the agenda is approved. We will now go on to the approval of the meeting minutes, item number 3. These minutes were sent out to all members for review. Are there any members that have concerns around any of the minutes? Member Thomas?
I was just going to move acceptance of the minutes.
All right, thank you for that motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Colleagues, can we take this item without objection? Without objection, the motion passes. We will then now move on to item number 4, speeding right along here to general public comment. This is an opportunity for the general public to engage with the members of the Democratic Party and speak on any items of interest on the agenda. I will turn this portion over to our Executive Director, Moises Garcia, to help facilitate this portion of the meeting. So without further ado, Director Garcia, the floor is yours.
Thank you. If you would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function, which can be found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you are listening in to this meeting via your phone, please dial *9 to enter the queue. If you encounter any difficulties, please send an email to info@sfdemocrats.org. Each speaker will have 1 minute to address the SFDCCC. I'll promote people in the order that I see your hands raised. Thank you for your patience. Great. With that, start my timer. Great. And I will promote 3 people at a time. And if we can start with Susan Pfeiffer.
Hi, good evening, Democrats, and thank you, Moises. I will take a little longer than a minute, but I have some important announcements to share. So thank you for allowing me every month to do this. The first thing.
Oops, Susan, you've been
muted.
Still muted, I'm sorry. Thank you. Good evening, Democrats. And thank you for allowing me to speak every month. I will take a little longer than a minute, but I'll get everything in as quickly as possible. Today, we are celebrating the 12th anniversary of the Affordable Care Act, which is a big effing deal, as Joe Biden said at the time, and it has survived. The watchword of the day, the hashtag is ACA is here to stay. Cover California, which is part of that, is celebrating the anniversary with the success that they have had in enrollments. I won't go into details, but for every supervisor on this call or someone, a proxy for them, I'm again going to say, please include information about open enrollment, special enrollment, and Medi-Cal enrollment in your monthly email newsletters to your constituents. It is free to enroll. I can help them. I'm a certified enrollment counselor. I can get them whatever help they need. And it's really important that we continue to let them know that. I have been in touch with some of you, but please reach out to me if you need language for that. Item 2, I am working with Peter Galata and Moises to represent the San Francisco Democratic Party at the Bay Area Coalition, or BAC, on the midterm elections. And this is a compilation of 5 central committees and a myriad of other organizations that are all working together for mega phone banks for the midterms. And it's really important that we participate. And the other groups include Swing Left and Democracy Action, Moran, et cetera. We're going to be calling into the California Central Valley for CA 13 and 22. Those are the new districts. We're also calling Arizona and Nevada on the Senate elections. These are important elections, and the more people we can get calling, the better chance we are going of winning those. Swing Left is also doing voter registration in the Central Valley. That will be coming up soon. There are over 100,000 eligible unregistered voters in the Central Valley that are being identified. They're going to go door to door to help them register to vote. There will be carpools from San Francisco going to Modesto, so stay tuned for that. I'm also working with the California Democratic Party and the San Francisco Democratic Party and the League of Women Voters to set up a voter registration table at the 3-day high school graduation marathon, May 30th, 31st, and June 1st at Kezar Stadium. There will be 4 schools per day. So 3 days in a row, full days, we'll have shifts. We'll be sending out links to sign up to volunteer to help on that. And the committee for us will include Moises and Keith Baraka and me and any others who would like to participate. This is the first time we've had this. So it's going to, and hopefully we'll do it every year. And one last quick thing, the Department of Transportation under Secretary Pete Buttigieg is holding a day-long hearing tomorrow on the subject of wheelchairs and air travel. I know that's a subject that the California Democratic Party and the Disability Caucus have been very passionate about. And this is going to have people from the airlines and allowing public comment. It starts at 7:30 in the morning, and somehow I'm going to get up and be on it and hope to have a resolution for the summer e-board meeting of the California Democratic Party. And we'll want to work with clubs and the Central Committee to get that sponsored here so we can get it onto the state party. Thank you very much. Have a good evening, Democrats. I'll be with you for the rest of the meeting.
Thank you, Susan. Next, we'll hear from Jordan Davis.
Hello, everybody. Jordan Davis, she and her, a couple things. One, we need Medicare for all. ACA just didn't really cut it. I wanted to piggyback off that. Second, as a Polish American, I stand in solidarity with Ukraine as they repel the Russian invaders. Third, I want to talk about Prop D. Prop D is bullshit. It's a Trojan horse created by Catherine Stephanie to undermine our DA. Fourth, want to really point out something really hurtful that happened with a member of this committee. Member Maliga, when he was still on the school board, voted against creating a queer and transparent advisory committee, and he needs to resign from the Democratic Party. There's no place for hate here. And I yield my time.
Thank you for your comments. Moving on to Tab Buckner, followed by Lee Hepner and Jennifer Clary.
Good evening. My name is Tab Buckner. I'm here to speak on behalf of Proposition C, which is a very reasonable measure that would help avoid extremities of imposing a recall just as somebody is settling into office, and at the same time avoids the very expensive cost of an election that would happen just months before a given term expires. It's something that would encourage more representation and turnout, and also would discourage outside wealthy sources from trying to meddle in our local democracy. So I ask you to please do the right thing, the fair thing, and support yes on Proposition C. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tab. Lee?
Hi, Democratic Party members. I'm here to encourage you to vote yes on C for recall reform, E for ethics reform, and F for recology ratepayer reform. I'm proud to say that all three of these have been endorsed by the San Francisco Labor Council, among many others. And thanks to so many of you who have supported these measures already and put up with my nagging over the past couple of weeks. In just a little bit of time, Prop C recall reform, it's first and foremost about ensuring high turnout and open, fair elections. That's the essence of our democracy. I know it's something that a lot of you, all of you, are committed to, and it's how we ensure more diverse representation in local government. Recall reform is supported by 82% of voters statewide, 82% of Democrats statewide, and 2/3 of all voters. On Prop E, this is really basic. This has been the subject of headlines for too many years. We are closing a loophole around anti-bribery laws in San Francisco. There's no reason why city officials should be raising money from people whose contracts they approve. It's that basic. So I'm hoping you guys can get behind both of those. And then Prop F is just a slam dunk. Unanimous support of the Board of Soups, the mayor, Labor Council teamsters. Thank you, everybody, for all of your work.
Thank you for your comments. Jennifer Clary?
Thank you, Moises. My name is Jennifer Clary. I'm the California Director of Clean Water Action, and I'm here to support item 9, which is Chair Mahogany's resolution in support of Senate Bill 222 at the state level. This bill would create a statewide low-income rate assistance program for water, similar to the one that's been in place for energy for 30 years. And just as an illustration of why we need it, currently about 80% of San Francisco citizens are served by a low-income rate assistance program by PG&E, while less than 10% are served a low-income rate assistance program by the SFPUC, and that's one of the better rates in the state. So about half of Californians are served by a public water system that offers a low-income rate assistance program, but even in those communities that have one, the numbers are desperately low. So we really hope that we really thank you. We hope you can support this and also support keeping any money that was applied to water and wastewater arrearages to help fund this program. Thank you, Senator Wiener, for being a sponsor of this bill and for supporting the arrearage funding. And thank you, Chair Mahogany.
Thank you for your comments. Next, I'm going to queue up Susanna Atwood, Timothy Killikel, and Angelica Cortez. Great. Go ahead, Susan.
Hi, I'm a retired faculty member from City College, and I'm here to speak about item number 13, which is the resolution opposing the downsizing of City College. And I want to point out that City College often gets blamed for not handling their money well, when in fact, we have not gotten the kind of COLAs over many years from the state that would allow us to actually serve the city of San Francisco the way we'd like to. There is a lot of extra money in the state budget this year and talk of a total permanent restructure of how funds come to City College. So I think this is a really bad time to be downsizing the college until we have that information. It's also true that the amount that they will save is $5 million and the total revenue is $192 million per year. So it's a little odd to be laying off 350 faculty members when it's only 2 to 3% of the budget. Thank you.
For comments. Angelica Cortez.
Hi everyone, my name is Angelica Cortez and I am a sophomore here at CCSF completing nursing prerequisites. I am also a member of the Puente program. I was born and raised here in San Francisco, but my family is from a small town in Michoacan, Mexico. As a non-traditional first-generation student, it was crucial for me to find a community that would guide and orient me every step of the way through my transfer process. In December 2020, I came across a video naming my now counselor, Ms. Adriana Rivera, as CCSF's All-Star Counselor. I was captivated by her compassionate, culture-responsive approach to serving students. She could relate to my experiences being a first-generation college student herself. In Puente, I have flourished academically and personally. I have the confidence to succeed no matter how outrageous my dreams may seem to me. This is the second year in a row that Ms. Rivera and 12 other CCSF counselors are receiving pink slips. Why are faculty like Ms. Rivera, those dedicated to serving first-generation, historically marginalized students, being served pink slips and told your services are no longer required? Students like me require the services and support of faculty like Adriana Rivera, equity-minded, high-quality educators who lead with integrity. How are we
Thank you for your
expected to
comments. Next, we have, here we go. Lost one. We'll go to Adele Fayez.
I'm here to make
Thank-
comments if you're.
Thank
Come
you
back to
very
you.
much. My name is Adele Fils Carpenter. I'm AFT 2121 Political Director, City College Faculty in Women's and Gender Studies. And want to thank committee members, Chair Mahogany, for the time tonight to discuss the resolution item number 13 on the downside, opposing the downsizing of City College. And especially want to thank members Galata, Ibanez, Avalos, Thomas, Morales, and Lovett for working with the labor constituencies at the college to craft this resolution and bring this discussion forward. I want to confirm that we are in support of this resolution and appreciate our allies in the Democratic Party in holding a conversation about how we can reverse the tide of cuts that have been impacting City College, especially over the last 3 years, and really defend access to public higher education and maintain City College as a true community college. So thank you again, committee members. I yield my time.
Thank you for your comments. Timothy Killikelly.
Thank you very much. My name is Tim Killikelly. I'm a teacher for 25 years at City College of San Francisco. I'm the former president of AFT 2121 Faculty Union at the college. And I want you to support item number 13, a resolution stopping the downsizing of City College. It should really be noted to everyone that the faculty at our college have always negotiated in good faith to be willing to support our college and the work that we do in our classes and the work that we do for our students and for our community. Last year, when the college had a lot of financial issues, we took an 11% cut for 1 year. And that's ending. And now the district is in a different situation. It has the resources to restore our pay and not cut classes. And it should rescind the 58 layoff notices to full-timers. And it would also mean about another 250 part-timers would also be fired. So we urge you to support item 13. And we're working together with a lot of different groups here in the city to try to raise revenue to have a strong city college. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your comments. Again, if you would like to make public comment, please use the raise hand function, which can be found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you are listening to this meeting via your phone, please dial *9 to enter the queue. If you encounter any difficulties, please send an email to info@sfdemocrats.org. Each speaker will have 1 minute to address the SF-DCCC. I will promote folks in the order I see your hands raised. And again, thank you for your patience. And I will promote Julie Roberts, Kristen Evans, and Carrie Szymanski.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, my name's Julie Roberts Fung, and I'm calling to ask the DCCC to support Prop C for recall reform. The current recall process, there are no spending limits, which enable corporate interests to force the city to have expensive special elections, and it allows them to curate a smaller, more conservative electorate. In this most recent recall, about 30% of the electorate with unlimited funding. This is not small d democratic, and it puts the finger on the scale for corporate interests. Prop C begins to reform the recall process and reserves it for the most serious cases. So I'd urge the DCCC to support that initiative. Also, in terms of City College, we should be funding City College, not downsizing this important institution at a time when our students and families are relying on City College to recover from lockdowns and improve their lives and be able to stay in the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. On to Christine Evans.
Hi, this is Kristen Evans. I'm calling tonight on behalf of the Haight-Ashbury Neighborhood Council to urge you to support Prop C. We've submitted a paid ballot ballot argument for the voters guide. I'll just read it. Stop letting billionaires buy our government. Vote yes on C for recall reform. We're outraged that a handful of bitter billionaires have raised millions of dollars to buy back elections that they lost. Even the recallers themselves admit that 3 out of 4 signature gatherers were well-paid professionals, not San Franciscans. This isn't democracy. This isn't accountability. This creates chaos. Regular San Franciscans agree. Yes on C is a vote for democracy. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Carrie Szymanski.
That was great on my last name. Thank you so much. I'm a first grade educator and I'm here to support Prop C. As one of the parents of a kid in my classroom recently told me in frustration, the rich people in San Francisco own our housing and now they own our schools too. Recall reform will help restore faith in democracy in San Francisco by limiting the ability of special interests to undermine and distort our democracy. We cannot talk about recall reform without talking about campaign contribution caps. Because Citizens United prevents us from having contribution caps, recalls are not a level playing field, and they create an incentive for corporate interests to create separate elections with rules that give them an advantage. Prop C is an important first step for democracy in San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, I'm going to promote Amber Lang, Beatriz Hernandez, and Deborah Radiak. Go ahead, Amber.
Hi, good evening. Hi, my name is Amber, and I want to make a comment for item 13. So I'm taking ESL classes at Chinatown Center. I lived in the US for 3 years. I still remember some of the difficulties and experience as an immigrant. I have experienced some major challenges I have never faced, especially language barriers. I'm so fortunate that I'm able to attend ESL classes at CCSF. I met all the wonderful teachers to help me improve my English skills. I make wonderful memories and friends, not just my classmates, but also my teachers. These memories will stay with me and will help share who I become. So CCSF is an incredible resource for immigrants. Cutting ESL classes.
Thank you for your comments.
Oh, no more time.
No, sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
Next, we have Beatriz Hernandez.
Hello, everyone. My name is Beatriz Herrera. I'm an instructor and also a member of the Executive Board of AFT 2121. Some of you are probably exhausted hearing about the continued instability at City College, and we as faculty also are exhausted and tired. We survived the accreditation crisis of 2012, only to enter a 10-year period of what we now call low-intensity warfare with our own administrators beholding to a state policy agenda. The statewide mandate has demanded that City College become a junior college, serving only and exclusively full-time students who can complete their degree requirements in 2 years in the name of racial equity. This is a talented 10th model, serving only those with the financial resources to transfer quickly, who do not also have to work, take care of children or younger siblings, let alone students who seek to learn English or some form of job training. Our Chancellor and Board of Trustees have bought into a narrative that CCSF needs to downsize. And we urge you to support us in passing this resolution and fight the layoffs of our faculty. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Deborah Radiak.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to share my thoughts. My name is Deborah Hadaik. I'm from Brazil, and I am a CCSF ESL student since 2017. And I'm here to support the Resolution 13. My journey at City College started in 2017. I still remember my first day at school, and I barely knew how to say hi in English. And I felt that it was a white paper because I couldn't tell my story or where I came from. City College gave my voice back, and now I'm here expressing myself in a second language. City College is giving me many opportunities to learn, and this is why last year I applied to be an AAC senator, because I want to give the student, I want to be the student's voice. I want to give back to City College what it was given to me. City College makes me feel that I'm someone that I can be whatever I want to be. My next step is to get a degree because I feel that I'm prepared. But how I'm gonna get how I'm gonna to study if I don't have classes? I don't have money to pay tuition. How I'm gonna get a better job if I don't have the education that I need? City College represents me freedom to say what I want to say, freedom to be what I want to be, freedom to go wherever I want to go. CCSF changed my life, and I need our leader to support us and change other students' lives. I encourage the committee to urge the CCSF trustee to reject layoffs and cuts before May 15. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Next, we have Danon Gordon, followed by Sean Dugar and Mikey Rosenthal.
Hello. Yes, I'm also here in support of the 13 for CCSF. I am a Bay Area native, born and raised, graduated from San Francisco State, been working for the city and county, but without the city college, I wouldn't be able to find myself in a position to learn and find a new career and a path that will allow me to challenge myself and also provide back to the city of San Francisco and stay here. As we know, it all gets very expensive. You know, we talk about investment. And investment in City College is an investment in San Francisco, and it's an investment in San Franciscans. And we need to continue to do that. Without City College, as many others have said, there would be a very big hole for people of all backgrounds, all nationalities, and mostly lower income levels to have an opportunity to further their career, to further their opportunity, and to have an opportunity to stay here in this wonderful place, San Francisco. So I encourage you to take on that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sean Dugar.
Good evening, fellow Democrats. My name is Sean Dugar. I am your neighbor to the east. To the east, yes. I live in Oakland and represent you all on the DNC. I am here this evening to speak about item number 15, which is a resolution in opposition to a bill that has been raised in the state legislature that would get rid of ranked choice voting and ban it statewide. This bill is something that we've seen in states like Florida and Tennessee, but not something we expect from a Democratic lawmaker here in the state of California. So I hope you all will join your colleagues in Alameda County, the city of Berkeley, the city of Albany, the mayor of Oakland, and many others from across the state in opposing this nonsense measure and saying that the voices of San Francisco voters should not be overturned by our state legislature. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Moving on to Mikey Rosenthal.
Good evening, fellow Democrats. My name is Mikey Rosenthal, and I'm a student and a student worker at CCSF College. So I'm here to talk about the 13th resolution on the list. And I just really want to say how that college has been really, really transformative for me, even encouraged me to pursue my academic goals as well, and having these layoffs too will hinder, a lot of students, even myself too, from getting sound advice, how to navigate through our careers, while we're transferring or, and there's so many beautiful programs too. There's, the biotech program, there's in construction too. And I've been really fortunate to be a student worker for a program called Project Survive, which is a sexual violence prevention program that promotes a healthy relationship model. And what we do is that we do these presentations at the courses at the college, but also we have a joint program with the Unified School District of San Francisco. And we do these presentations too, the fills and required education part at the schools. And it's been really, really powerful too, in terms of being so involved with something so important. And I'm really, really geared towards like mental health as well too. So I can tell you, being a student worker at that college has been one of the most important things in my life. So thank you so much.
Great. We have two more callers in the queue. And again, a reminder, sorry, let me get my script. If you would like to make public comments, please use the raise hand function, which can be found at the bottom of your Zoom screen. If you're listening to this meeting via your phone, please dial *9 to enter the queue. If you encounter any difficulties, please send an email to info@sfdemocrats.org. Each speaker will have 1 minute to address the SF DCCC, and I'll promote people in the order that I see your hands raised. Thank you. And so with that, I will promote Michelle Nerman, Carla Crocomo, and Fred Molenheim, followed by Kimberly Taviglione. Go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you. I'm here to speak on item number 13, a resolution opposing the downsides of City College. So I'm one of the faculty who received a pink slip. I'm a licensed architect and I teach in the architecture department, which also houses interior design and the construction management programs. And I want to speak on those programs specifically because City College really has a unique asset with these programs. Not a lot of community colleges have architecture programs. And the thing about architecture is that when you study it from your freshman year. It's not like other programs that you do 2 years of GE first. So
having it at a community college is critical to opening this career pathway to groups of people who don't have access to it otherwise. I was first introduced to City College when I was just a San Francisco resident, and I took some classes to round out my graphic software skills. And right away, I noticed a difference in the student body here than that of my own architecture education at UC Berkeley. Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Moving on to Carla.
Good evening. My name is Carla Crocamo, and I'm a San Francisco resident and faculty at City College of San Francisco. I want to urge you to support item 13, a resolution that opposes the downsizing of City College of San Francisco. For the past few years, we've been having deep cuts of our programs that are essential to meet the needs of our diverse community. Now we're facing more cuts and layoffs. I want you to support this resolution, which will stop these cuts and layoffs and bring City College of San Francisco back to where it should belong, which is serving our community. Please support item 13. I yield my time. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Moving on to Fred Mullenheim. Fred, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Fred, and I'm here to support City College and item number 13. City College retrained me successfully for 2 very good careers as an adult. One was in architectural drafting, where I worked for over a decade in architectural interiors. And then after retirement, I was prepared to work in agriculture as a programs coordinator at a retirement center. In the past years, I see programs disappearing. The architecture would be affected by the pink slips, so would be the agriculture department. Nursing, aviation technology, going away, building the new PAC, and yet the theater department is being decimated. This is wrong. We do not need to make these cuts financially. There are alternative budgets out there that the board is not recognizing and looking at. Please support and thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Sorry. And next we'll have Kimberly Taviglione.
Hi, this is Kim Tavoloni from the San Francisco Labor Council. I just want to thank everybody for all their hard work, and I want to urge everyone to support the Peter Galata resolution on City College. I know the unions worked really hard on it, and I'm urging you to support that, and also urge you to support all our other recommendations, like on the recall, behested payments, et cetera, et cetera. Thank you for your time. Look forward to working with you all.
Thank you for your comments. Madam Chair, there are no more hands raised. One thing I forgot to mention early on is that you should have received a packet with 4 or 5 comments, 4 or 5 written comments. They're in your inbox as well for your consideration.
All right, thank you, Executive Director Garcia. And if there are no more public comments, we will now close public comment and move on to our next item, which is the officer reports. Starting with the chair's report, I just want to thank everyone again for sitting through quite a long meeting last month. I think that there was a lot of work that went into that meeting. And so again, I want to thank Vice Chair Lovett, and Vice Chair Glada and members Ibanez and Member Barry for all of their hard work. And since then, there has been even more hard work that has been done in regards to considering all of our upcoming ballot measures and candidates and endorsements. So again, just want to give a shout out to all of their hard work that has been happening behind the scenes. I also want to recognize the work of our executive director, who has been providing incredible assistance to all of our members and committees, and also setting up new systems for the Democratic Party to make things more efficient, including a nifty proxy tool. So for those of you who need a proxy, I think it makes it much more easier and helps us track that generally. So again, thank you to our executive director for all the updates you are making to bring us into the I would say the future, but it's really bringing us to the present. So thank you for updating our outdated systems. I also want to say that, we do have quite a few events being planned in the pipeline. I won't go into too much detail because I know Member Thomas will be reporting on some of our fundraising goals, but we do have a couple really great events that we hope to have your support on. And also want to note that we are still waiting on a few checks to roll in from our winter fundraisers. So we are tracking those down diligently, but our funds are running a bit low. So if you are on this call or watching this call and know that you have a check that is owed to the San Francisco Democratic Party, please make sure to follow up with Executive Director Garcia, and we will get you all the things that you need in order to make that happen. Lastly, I would just like to say that I know that there was an email that went out to the body specifically around sending out a bid for contractors to do our mailer. That was we were going to announce it at last month's meeting, but due to the lengthiness of that meeting, we delayed those officer reports to this month. However, the committee did meet, and we have made some recommendations. And so Vice Chair Galata will be talking about that in his report as well. So that is just a brief overview of this next month. And with that, I will pass it on to Vice Chair Lacroix for a report on outreach.
Hi, good evening, everybody. I think given the amount of items on the agenda, I'm happy to yield my time to other folks.
All right, thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. We will then move on to voter registration. Vice Chair Baraka, if you're still here, although I know he said he had to leave and had a proxy. Is he? I don't see him on the call. So we will go on to, we will now move on to club chartering. There are no updates in regards to club chartering, so we will move on to issues and resolutions with Vice Chair Lovett.
I will be brief too, and thank you, Chair Mahogany, for giving the shout out. It's a team effort. I will save my comments in terms of the recommendations that the Issues and Resolutions Committee would be making on the ballot measures in Agenda Item 8. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to back to you to the next Vice Chair.
All right, thank you so much. We will go to Vice Chair Galata with partnerships.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Good evening, colleagues. I'm just going to lift up some of the comments we heard from Susan Pfeiffer tonight, and just thanks Susan again for all of her work. So the San Francisco Democratic Party recently joined the Bay Area Coalition. This is a group of Democratic organizations and county committees in the Bay Area who are coming together to turn out the vote for the 2022 midterms. The coalition is currently organizing weekly virtual phone banks to make calls into Arizona, Nevada, and the Central Valley, so we can keep the House, keep the Senate, and deliver Democratic wins up and down the ballot. So the Nevada Senate race is one of the closest races right now, and we'll be calling to help protect Senator Catherine Cortez Masto's seat. We'll be supporting Mission for Arizona, reaching out to Democrats to reelect Mark Kelly and Democrats up and down the ballot in Arizona, and then calling into the Central Valley to reach out to Democratic leaning, no party preference voters, so we can get them to turn out both in the primary and the midterms. So this work is going to be, it's already started every Wednesday, 5 to 7 p.m. You can sign up for any week up in the next few months. I dropped the link into the chat earlier. It's a great opportunity to meet other volunteers from the Bay Area. This is a big Bay Area effort, which is really exciting. There are often dozens, if not hundreds of people on these phone banks, which is exciting. We will train you. It's really easy if you haven't phone banked before. I know so many of you have, and thank you for your past support. And we hope we can, we usually don't really kick up into high gear until the fall, but we're starting early because we know there's so much at stake and we need to reach voters early to confirm their support. So just Susan Pfeiffer, thank you for helping to be our kind of lead on the Bay Area Coalition work, along with our Executive Director Garcia. And we'll be sharing more information about upcoming trainings, events, and phone banks with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. We will now move on to, actually, I know that our treasurer is not here and has a proxy. Is there a report from our treasurer to relay tonight?
Yeah, it's brief. I think you already covered it. Right now, the balance between our state and our federal accounts is around $4,000. And as you mentioned, there's still about $9,000 outstanding from our winter fundraiser, which we are tracking down very diligently at the moment.
Thank you, Director Garcia. We will now move on to some of our committees, starting with fundraising committee with member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. The fundraising committee has been meeting over the last couple of months. Proud to, first I want to thank the folks that have met up. Moises has done a tremendous job preparing us and helping us with research. And then also thank you, Kathleen McDonough, Brian Perkins, and Member Duffy for all of their work on the fundraising committee. Happy to report out that we have a tentative date for the event that will honor the career and lifetime achievement of Jackie Spear. So mark your calendars for the evening of Friday, August 26th. That is the tentative date we have in place. And we have narrowed down some venue locations that we think might work. We're pricing them out now, and we're confirming that they're all good Union Local 2 locations. We finalized sponsorship tier information, and we've projected out call time around this as well. So if you'd like to get involved in planning this, if you'd like to be a volunteer in any of our sessions, we tend to meet on Tuesdays in the evening, every couple of weeks at least, and then we'll ramp that up as we get closer to the event. But that's the report.
Thank you, Member Thomas. We also have a report from our gender equity group. We do have a meeting date, which will be March 29th, which is a Tuesday. I believe it is the time in the evening, but we will double check. I believe it's for 6 p.m. So March 29th at 6 p.m. And we will be sending out a link. So if you, if you are interested in participating in the Gender Equity Committee, please just message our executive director and he can make sure that you are added to the invite for that Zoom meeting. And with that, I believe that is our last committee report. We will now move on to our report from our executive director.
Good evening, folks. Just a couple of things. I just wanted to mention that we should be releasing our applications for interns and fellows. The goal date is April 1, and we'd like to have folks start in May if feasible. And then lastly, just wanted to mention that you don't receive a panelist invite every month because your panelist invite is actually good for the entire year. And so you can use that same login for the entire year, and your invite actually has a link that will add it to your calendar for the remainder of the year as well. So hopefully that alleviates some stress on day of for all of you. And that's it.
Thank you, Director Garcia. So everyone, please make sure to update your calendars with that link that you used tonight. It will be the same link that you use every week, so you're not panicking right before the meeting like I did earlier. All right, we will now move on to a report from our CDP Region 6 Director, Henny Kelly, if she is here. Is she in the attendees?
I don't see her this evening, no.
All right, so I assume there will be no report there. Colleagues, we can now move on to item number 6, which is issuance of voter outreach program contract for the June 7th, 2022 election. I will pass this off to Vice Chair Galata so that we can get an update on this.
Thanks, Chair Mahogany. So I'll just provide just a brief report on this item. So per the process outlined in our bylaws, the party issued a formal request for proposals for print, design, and mail services for our June 7th slate mail program. The RFP was issued on March 9th, and the body was provided full notice of the issuance of the RFP, and the RFP was also shared with the DCCC's vendor list, which is traditional practice. The deadline for submissions was March 18th, so we gave folks about 2 weeks to respond. We received 3 proposals from this solicitation from 3 different firms. Imprenta, which is an LA-based firm, MJE Strategies, which is Bay Area-based, and Stearns Consulting, which is based in San Francisco. The bidding committee comprised our chair, Mahogany, Treasurer Morales, Vice Chair Lacroix, and myself. And we reviewed the proposals and assessed the responses based on qualifications, on the vendor's ability to meet our needs, as well as cost. And per our policies and procedures manual, the party, takes into account various criteria when selecting a vendor. Again, qualifications, diversity, cost, an array of factors that we consider. The policies and procedures manual also states that whenever possible and where appropriate, the SFDCCC shall consider the low bid. So the bidding committee discussed the proposals, and we recommended moving forward with Stearns Consulting. I think in light of the party's just current financial position and the need to maximize our dollars to effectively communicate with as many voters as possible, we felt that the proposal from Stearns Consulting was the most competitive. They also bring the deep experience with the party's needs and has executed our program over a number of years in the past. And I think they're well positioned to specifically meet our needs this cycle at the most cost-effective price. So I think it's important that we have a competitive bidding process, and we appreciate all of the firms that chose to bid in our process this cycle. Thank you, and special shout out to Executive Director Garcia for just your leadership in putting together this RFP, having it properly noticed and managing all of the receipt of the submissions and just the entire process. And so unless there are any comments from fellow committee members, I'd like to move that the full DCCC adopt the bidding committee's recommendation to select Stearns Consulting for the June 2022 slate mail program.
So move, Member Ibanez.
Seconded, Thomas.
All right, colleagues, can we take that without objection? All right, without objection, that motion passes, and we will accept the recommendation of the bidding committee. Thank you again, Vice Chair Galata, for your report and your leadership. We will now move on to item number 7, which I believe is our endorsement of candidates for local office on the June 7th, 2022 election. I believe we only have one candidate for this, and that is that of San Francisco City Attorney. I will turn this portion of the meeting over to members Ibanez and Berry.
Thank you so much.
I'm sorry, there's a raised hand, there's a hand raised. Member Lee, before I.
Oh, I was just ready to support David Chu's endorsement and to do so by acclamation.
Oh, well, I will first pass it on, and then once the chairs of that committee have a moment to give comment, then they can ask for that motion.
Yeah, thank you so much, Chair Mahogany. And I also, before I start, I actually wanted to thank co-chair Barry for her hard work and due diligence in creating and developing the questionnaires. She definitely asked the hard questions that need to be asked. And I want to thank everyone. Specifically, I want to thank Executive Director Moises Garcia for being very supportive in this process. Yes, even though it was one candidate that we had to interview, there's still a lot of work that goes behind the scenes. So I do want to say thank you to our Executive Director Garcia for his hard work and always being on point with everything. And with that, we only interviewed City Attorney David Chu, who is running unopposed. And questions were asked, a lot of questions were asked of him, and he answered them really well. And I think per our bylaws, the committee, we can't make a recommendation. We have to take a vote in terms of whether our Democratic Party wants to endorse him or stay out of the endorsement, but we have to definitely take a vote. So someone has to make a motion. I'm happy to make a motion if that's what we need to do, but it's not a motion that would come from the endorsement committee because it's not obviously allowed in the bylaws.
Well, thank you, Member Ibanez. I think that Member Lee was eager to make that motion. Oh, unless Member Barry, did you have comment as well?
I wanted to discuss my position on this endorsement, not as endorsement co-chair. I wanted to make a comment, so I don't know if that will come after Member Lee's motion.
Yes, it would come after Member Lee's motion. Member Lee, did you want to make the motion?
Oh, yeah, I can properly make the motion. Given that City Attorney David Chu is running unopposed, and he's been such a solid, strong leader for the city and is a solid, strong Democrat, I would like to move the sole endorsement of David Chu for City Attorney. I would love to do this unanimously by acclamation if possible.
50 seconds.
Member Barry.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I'm not speaking as co-chair of the endorsement committee. I'm speaking as Member Barry. And I would like to say that I'm going to vote no endorsement, and I wanted to say why. I don't believe that because someone is running unopposed, they should get my vote freely. There's one particular question that I asked of Mr. Chu that concerned me, and that's when it comes to racial equity and the racial equity department in the city of San Francisco. He did not answer my question as far as what could be done to hold city departments accountable for not hiring Black people, for not promoting Black people, for not hearing their claims on mistreatment. And the only thing he said is that they could only work on doing better in his department and hope that would influence other departments. And I feel that's not enough when Black people are disproportionately homeless, disproportionate, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to education and also housing, mass incarceration, you name it. And I feel someone who's been in office for so long in the city, for so long in the state, that he has not done enough for the Black community. And I just wanted to do my own little protest vote that maybe he can hear my voice, because things are getting worse and worse and worse in my community. So that is all. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Barry. We have a motion and also a second. I think I don't think we can do this by acclamation since we do have Member Barry saying that she's gonna take no position on this. So can we have a roll call vote?
Yep, no problem. So this is the SF Democratic County Central Committee. endorsement vote for San Francisco City Attorney. When I call your name, your choices are David Chu. Wait, it's just either David Chu or
I think
no
it's just-
position or no?
I think it's yes, or
It's just
nope.
David Chu or abstain, right? Because it's just 50+1. Sorry, I haven't done this in a while. I need to bring up the sheet. I apologize. Moises, if you can do me a favor and link the sheet in chat, since I can't see it. So I'm going to call in your name, and then you can either say David Chu, or no endorsement, or abstain. You can also pass, but if you pass, I'm going to come back to you. I apologize for this. Okay, if you're all ready.
Janice?
Yep, I've got it. Thank you, Edie Garcia. All right, Member Avalos.
David Chu.
Member Baraka. Member Barry.
I'm his proxy. David Chu.
Got it. Member Barry.
No endorsement.
Member Campos.
David Chu.
Member Chen.
David Chu.
Member Duffy.
David Chu.
Member Galata.
David Chu.
Member Haney. Member Ibanez.
Abstain.
Member Kim. Member Lacroix.
David Chu.
Member Lee, David Chu. Member Loftus. Member Lovett.
David Chu.
Member Mahogany, Chair Mahogany.
Chu.
Member Mandelman.
David Chu.
Member Marr. Member Maliga.
Chu.
Member Morales.
Abstain.
Member Raju.
David Chu.
Member Ronan.
Abstain.
Member Thomas.
David Chu.
Member Tung.
David Chu.
Member Williams.
David Chu.
Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Pelosi. Member Spear. Member Kounalakis.
David Chu.
Member Ma.
David Chu.
Member Cohen.
David Chu.
Member Weiner.
David Chu.
Member Ting. And just to check, Member Haney, Member Kim, Member Loftus, Member Marr, Member Pelosi, Member Spear, Member Ting. So with a total of 20 votes to endorse David Chu.
Sorry, Janice, before you announce, I believe that Member Baraka's proxy would like to get your attention.
Yes.
Thank you, Member Lacroix. Yeah, I made an error. I am Member Baraka's proxy, and he would like to abstain from this vote. I hope we don't have to rescind and vote all over again, but I would like to record his vote as an abstention.
Thank you, Member Avalos. That is now recorded. So the final vote here is with 19 in support of David Chu, 5 abstentions, and 1 vote for no endorsement. Congratulations to David Chu. You have received SFDCCC's sole endorsement for City Attorney.
Thank you, Member Lee, and congratulations to City Attorney Chu for the endorsement. We will now move on to item number 8, which is the endorsement of qualified local measures for the June 7th, 2022 election. And for that, I will turn it over to the Chair of the Issues and Resolutions Committee, Vice Chair Levitt.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. We've been busy looking towards June. So we're looking at 7 local ballot measures here in San Francisco. There is 1 bond. There are 2 charter amendments proposed, and then there are 4 initiative ordinances. So for each of these, I am going to first put a link to our agenda in the chat. And if you can share that also on Facebook, Executive Director Garcia, that'd be great. I highly recommend looking for props A through G at each of the ballot simplification links that's provided. So we're doing your homework for you, and that's a bit of a shortcut. So what I'm going to do is for each of these, I will say in about 2 or 3 sentences the overall gist and the recommendation that we would make from the Issues and Resolutions Committee. And then somebody can make a motion as to supporting or not supporting an endorsement from the San Francisco Democratic Party. And then we'll have discussion. So for Prop A, this is Muni Reliability and Street Safety. And for that, we're looking at a $400 million general obligation bond for reliability, deferred maintenance, safety, and accessibility. So a couple of keys that we heard were that this is important for leveraging federal infrastructure dollars. And another important thing is that now there's an alignment with labor standards for MTA, whereas previously they were not. And so those are important issues. And our committee does recommend supporting an endorsement, a yes endorsement for Prop A. Members. I'll hand this back to, shall I hand this back to Chair Mahogany, or shall I call, just call stack?
I'm happy to let you call these.
Okay, sounds good. I think there's one hand, so I see that from Member Thomas.
I was wondering if we'd take if it's a motion is necessary for these. Yeah, so I'd motion endorsement of Proposition A.
I second the motion.
Okay. Do we want to do this by acclamation? Do we want to do this by vote?
Unless there's any objections, I think we can do it by acclamation.
Okay. All right, so I'm hearing a motion that we endorse Prop A for Muni Reliability and Safety. And by acclamation, do we all agree? I do see a hand now from Member Barry, so sorry about that.
Yes, I won't be endorsing this proposition because I feel Muni gets money locally, statewide, federally, and I feel like it's a misappropriation of funds. And I think they need to do better. And that's all I have to say on that one.
So it sounds like we do want to vote and go through the roll call. Secretary Lee, we're going to ask you to queue up the spreadsheets and go through the roll call.
Got it. Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. So for Proposition A, the Muni Reliability and Street Safety General Obligation Bond, your options are yes to support, no to vote no on Prop A, no endorsement, or abstain. And once again, if you pass, I will return to you afterwards. Member Avalos.
Yes.
Avalos, yes. Member Baraka.
His proxy, yes.
Member Barry.
No.
Member Barry, no. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen.
Yes.
Member Chen, yes. Member Dufty.
Yes.
Member Dufty, yes. Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Galata, yes. Member Haney. Member Ibanez.
Yes.
Member Ibanez, yes. Member Kim. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee, yes. Member Loftus. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Lovett, yes. Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
Chair Mahogany, yes. Member Mandelman.
Yes.
Member Mandelman, yes. Member Marr. Member Maliga.
Yes.
Member Maliga, yes. Member Morales.
Yes.
Member Morales, yes. Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Raju, yes. Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Ronan, yes. Member Thomas.
Yes.
Member Thomas, yes. Member Tong.
Yes.
Member Tong, yes. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Williams, yes. Member Feinstein.
Yes.
Member Feinstein, yes. Member Pelosi. Member Spear. Member Kounalakis,
Abstain.
Member Kounalakis abstain, Member Ma.
Yes.
Member Ma, yes. Member Cohen.
Yes.
Member Cohen, yes. Member Weiner.
Yes.
Member Weiner, yes. Member Ting. I'm just triple checking members Haney, Kim, Loftus, Marr, Pelosi, Spear, or Ting. Speak now or forever hold your peace.
Those folks are either absent or they're excused.
Got it. Okay, I'll be mindful in calling them again for future measures. All right, so with a total vote of 23 yes, 1 no, and 1 abstention, congratulations, supporter of Prop A. SFDCCC is yes on A.
Thanks so much, Secretary Lee. Okay, we're going to go to Prop B, and this is the Building Inspection Commission. So this is a charter amendment, and to be brief, there is some just restructuring around the 4 mayoral appointments and the 3 board appointments. But what's really substantive is that at this point in time, it's this BIC, this commission, that gets to choose the director of the Department of Building Inspections, otherwise known as DBI. You have heard about the scandals if you've been following the news. So this measure would add a measure of accountability, and therefore these appointments for that important director position would require Board of Supervisors approval. So going to the June ballot, our committee has recommended yes on Prop B. Any discussion? And let me just also note for process that members Lee, LaCroix, Thomas have recommended in the chat that we do a roll call vote for each of these props. Okay, so do we have any discussion, or do we have, oh yes, Member Thomas.
Move to endorse Proposition B.
I don't think we actually need motions for these.
I didn't think so. I figured I'd ask. Yeah.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you. Then we'll do roll call, and Secretary Lee will proceed with that.
Yeah, given that we don't need motions, I'm just going to strike the motion from Prop A, and then we'll just go straight to the vote. I'll go as quickly as possible. So once again, your options are yes, no, no endorsement, or abstain. And this is for Prop B, the changes to the Building Inspection Commission appointments. Member Oblos.
Yes.
Member Oblos, yes. Member Baraka.
Yes.
Member Baraka, yes. Member Barry.
Yes.
Member Barry, yes. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen. Member Chen. Member Dufty.
Yes.
Member Dufty, yes. Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Galata, yes. Member Ibanez.
Yes.
Member Ibanez, yes. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee, yes. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Lovett, yes. Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
Chair Mahogany, yes. Member Mandelman.
Yes.
Member Mandelman, yes. Member Maliga.
Yes.
Member Maliga, yes. Member Morales.
Yes.
Member Morales, yes. Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Raju, yes. Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Ronan, yes. Member Thomas.
Yes.
Member Thomas, yes. Member Tung.
Abstain.
Member Tung, abstain. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Williams, yes. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein, abstain. Member Kounalakis.
Abstain.
Member Kounalakis, abstain. Member Ma.
Yes.
Member Ma, yes. Member Cohen.
Abstain.
Member Cohen, abstain. Member Weiner.
Abstain.
Member Weiner, abstain. And just to check back, Member Chen, if you're there.
Sorry. Yeah. Member Chen is here.
Got it. Great. So with a total of 20 yes, 0 no, 5 abstentions, the SFDCCC has voted yes to support Prop B.
Thank you, Secretary Lee. Okay, we're going on to Prop C. And again, if you open up the 72-hour agenda, you can see the links to the ballot simplification from the SF elections that our executive director provided. And that is really helpful. And we do encourage you to do your own research as well for members of the public listening in. So we are looking at recall timelines and vacancy appointments. So this is a proposed charter amendment. And what this would do would shorten the amount of time that an elected official is eligible to be recalled. So it's 12 months into their service, and that means that they have a track record. It's also before the last 12 months where this would be a blackout, but effectively it would be approximately 18 months. A good question was asked at our Saturday, March 19th endorsement interviews. So what happens if there's some misconduct, serious misconduct? Then the mayor could act upon that, and she still has the ability to file charges and act as she would need to do if there are some serious allegations that are approved. I think another important part is that there would be appointees who are essentially caretakers, i.e. they're not able to run. Does anyone have any discussion or any comments on this? I'm not seeing hands yet. Okay, we have Secretary Ibanez.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Lee. Love it. I want to urge all my colleagues to support this proposition. I think this proposition promotes good government. Not only does it promote good governance, but it actually ensures that we don't continue doing voter suppression the way I saw the recall, or the way I see recalls, not just the current recall that happened here in San Francisco, but overall, it does encourage voter suppression. We look at the numbers that came out to vote in this last special election was 30% compared to the elections in the last election in 2020. Obviously, 2020, we had over 87% of the voters who came out and voted in the election. And we can look at even at the state election or the statewide election that happened in 2018, and we saw a huge percentage compared to the 30%. But not only is it a much lower percentage, but looking at the electorate is very white, very conservative, and not representative of the voters in San Francisco or in general. But the other thing is that they're very, very costly. It cost the city of San Francisco $12 million, while the recall proponents, they invested $2 million. And they knew that by investing $2 million and having the city invest over $12 million, they were going to be able to get the outcome that they wanted, basically buying the results and knowing that the turnout is very small. It doesn't take a genius to know that. All you have to do is look at all the recall elections, and you know that the voter turnout is going to be really small. And we know that it's going to be very traditionally, very, very traditional in terms of the way I see it. As I said, the electorate, very, very white, very older, and very conservative. And that's not a San Franciscan values. So I urge all of you to support this proposition.
Sorry about that. I'm taking notes, and when you're online, it just takes that much more time to find the mute button sometimes. Thank you very much, Member Ibanez. Is there anybody else who would like to speak about Proposition C, recall timelines?
Vice Chair Levitt, I've put myself in the stack. I don't know if anyone else is in the stack.
Sure. Yes, please, Member Tang.
So I'm going to be voting no in terms of what the position of this party should be on Proposition C. The recall process is actually a very progressive reform instituted by California voters in the early 20th century to hold elected officials accountable when they disrespect and disregard the will of the voters. Despite Prop C's proponents' assertions, the facts do not reflect that the recall process in San Francisco has been abused. On the contrary, since 1907, just 6 local recall elections have qualified for the ballot, and it has been more than 100 years since the last successful recall. If you look at the numbers for the recall, there were more people who voted in favor of the recall than actually voted these school board members in 2018. And so in the case of the school board recall, what this proposition would have done is taken it out of the hands of the voters. And I find it troubling that people call an election an undemocratic process. In the case of the school board recall, the voters have spoken loudly and clearly. There was it was 100% vote by mail. So the fact that every voter in San Francisco got a ballot and had an opportunity to vote is something that I think kind of just speaks to how this is a democratic and open and fair process. So I will be voting no on Proposition C.
Thank you, Member Tung. And Member Thomas, I see your hand.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Love it. I echo fully the comments of Secretary Banez and the San Francisco Labor Council in fully supporting this proposition and the endorsement of it. I think that this body has seen the abuse of the recall process, not only locally, but statewide over the last year or so. And we have taken aggressive action as a local Democratic Party and a statewide Democratic Party to try and correct this abuse of the recall process. And this is a step in the right direction. This does not remove the voter accountability. We have that in scheduled elections, and this does not remove recalls. We still have recalls under this as well. It just prevents the abuse of the recall process. So I encourage an endorsement of this ballot measure.
Do we have any other people in stack? If we don't, Secretary Lee, could you do a roll call vote, please?
Yeah, and I just want to check, did the committee support a yes vote? Okay.
Oh, yes, thank you. Yes, we recommend endorsement of Prop C.
Okay, great, thank you. For Prop C, regarding recall timelines and vacancy appointments, your options are yes, no, no endorsement, or abstain. Member Avalos.
Yes.
Member Avalos, yes. Member Baraka.
Yes.
Member Baraka, yes. Member Barry.
Yes.
Member Barry, yes. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen.
Yes.
Member Chen, yes. Member Dufty.
By proxy, abstain.
Member Dufty abstained. Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Galata, yes. Member Abanez.
Yes.
Member Abanez, yes. Member Kim is now here. Member Kim.
Yes.
Member Kim, yes. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee abstained. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Lovett, yes. Member Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
Chair Mahogany, yes. Member Mandelman.
No.
Member Mandelman, no. Member Maliga.
Yes.
Member Maliga, yes. Member Morales.
Yes.
Member Morales, yes. Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Raju, yes. Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Ronan, yes. Member Thomas.
Yes.
Member Thomas, yes. Member Tong.
No.
Member Tong, no. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Williams, yes. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein abstain. Member Kounalakis.
Abstain.
Member Kounalakis abstain. I don't know if the proxy for Treasurer Ma is here. I think she had to leave. So Member Cohen.
Abstain.
Member Cohen abstain. Member Weiner.
No.
Member Weiner, no. With 17 yes, 3 no, and 5 abstentions, this simply needs a 50+1 majority. So congratulations, SFDCCC is yes on Prop C.
Thank you, Secretary Lee. So now we go on to Prop D, and that's victims and witness rights. So this is one of the 4 initiative ordinances. So this one, I'll just give a quick explanation. This creates a new department in San Francisco that provides victim services, including a pilot for a right to civil counsel that would be focusing on victims of domestic violence first, although the prop would serve victims of crimes more broadly. And so we actually, as a committee, did not have an endorsement for this. You know, we had some really good questions at the endorsement interview with regard to how this would be coordinated with current victim services in the DA's office and housed in a number of other departments. And there's some questions around budget and also how staff could be pulled from other departments. And that piece was of concern. So we do not have a recommendation. However, we do invite members to speak to this. And let's see if there's anyone in staff. Member Barry.
Yes, I gave this one a lot of thought, being a survivor of domestic violence. And it sounded good in spirit, but I have concern that it's an attempt to undermine our wonderful district attorney. And then I did a little bit of research and I found that there was no communication with the district attorney's office, who has a victims' rights office. There's no communication with the public defender's office, and they're not even mentioned in this. And as a survivor who's been through the court system here in San Francisco and in Contra Costa County, I don't like for our pain to be used politically. The timing is concerning to me. And again, I'm voting no on this. Thank you.
I see member, thank you, Member Barry. I see Member Abanez's hand next.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Lovett. I have a lot of concerns about this in proposition, just like Member Barry said. On the surface, sounds really good, but I have quite a few concerns. One of my main concerns is that the funding, there is no funding to fund this pilot program. Where are the fundings going to come? The process is not very clear. It is concerning that it's going to pit one department versus another department. I'm really concerned that the fact that there is already a department or program that's supported by the district attorneys to support victims, and that department also needs resources. So I question, where are the resources going to come from? Which department is going to be cut? So I do have a lot of concerns about that. It also adds another layer of bureaucracy, whether we say it's not, but it is. And for me, that's also a big concern. The other is, as want to be able to support what Member Barry said, weaponizing victims of crime, to me, just hits me at core. I don't support that. I find this proposition something that it is very politically, that it's basically, darn if you don't support it, darn if you do. And I just don't like anything that has political weaponized, that it's a bomb on one side and bomb on the other. And so for me, I have a hard time supporting something like that. It's not good governance. It's not what we're supposed to do. And questioning, again, the same thing that Member Barry said, the timing of it. I feel like if we want to do, and if we really do care about the rights of victims, the proponents should have brought together the public defender, the district attorney, and the different programs that we have in the city to be able to draft something that actually really meets the needs of our victims and to protect them. So for me, I will be opposing this. However, I will support the position of no support.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. And then we have Chair Mahogany next in the stack, followed by Member Tang.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. I have a lot of feelings about this. I would just like to say that I work as a legislative aide, and we do get a lot of referrals from community members or requests from community members for services, a lot of people who are victims. And I have had a very, I've had very great success in referring people to the Victim Services Unit at the District Attorney's Office. And so I really commend the District Attorney for his ability and his team for being able to provide really excellent services. I will say that I know that there are a lot of victim services throughout the city. And from my understanding, one of the things that this new department would do would be to help coordinate some of those services. I think it is, it is a little bit disturbing to me that there was not more, it seems like there was not more collaboration. That's not what I had heard, but I believe that maybe there could have been more collaboration that was done in the creation of this. But something that really highlighted, I think, how I am going to vote today is, I actually was witness to a domestic violence situation this past weekend. And, it was, very troubling. And ultimately, the woman involved did, not press charges and did not seek services. And part of the reason was because she did not want to get involved with the system. She did not trust the police, right? And so I do think that there is a need for perhaps a victim services unit that would not, or victim services to be offered that are not necessarily through, the police or the DA. And so that does, appeal to me. And I think that it may appeal to other people who may otherwise be left out of the system. And so for that, I am going to support this measure. I do know that there's a lot of complicated feelings about it, but at the end of the day, for me, it's really the victims and people having access to resources that they need and feel comfortable accessing that is most important. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. Member Tang.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. So I'd like to thank Chair Mahogany for her very thoughtful comments on this issue. And to the extent that the process was something that some of the members on this committee feel was not perfect, I can appreciate that you may have gone about it in a different way, but we're still left with the idea that we have to make a decision on whether the substance of this ballot measure is a good thing or something that we should not support. So the idea about victim services is that I think one of the most important things about this measure is that it consolidates them from different agencies in the city, and that really, when you're talking about serving victims, having a place where the agency or the department is solely interested in representing the interests of the victim, I think is something that is missing in the criminal justice system. So having been a prosecutor for the last 20 plus years myself, I know that the position of a prosecutor is very complicated because you don't represent any one person. You don't represent, obviously you don't represent the defendant solely. That's the job of his or her counsel or their counsel. But you do at some points represent what is the defendant's rights. So you have to consider that. And when you communicate with victims, you consider what the victim wants or how they feel about the process, but you also are not representing the victim. And so, in this greater process of criminal justice, the defendant has somebody who's fighting exclusively for them, where the victim does not necessarily have that exclusive champion. And I think that, when you move things into an agency that is really dedicated to victim service, and to Chair Mahogany's point, is not connected necessarily to a law enforcement agency, that this is a vehicle to serve victims better. I think it's a new model. It's something that's a little bit novel and certainly is not something that we've tried here in San Francisco before. But I think there's a lot of room to work with stakeholders in the way that this measure may be implemented going forward. And with that idea and a hope that, this is going to be something good for victims going forward, I will be supporting this measure.
Thank you, Member Tang. I believe that Member Barry has her hand up, and then followed by Member Lee.
Thank you. I also wanted to point out, like I said, I was I was had domestic violence at the age of 15 and at the age of 39. And there is a danger when we bring someone who's not aware of the systems, aware of the court processes, whether they want to go through it or not. My second time going through the court process, I did not call the police. So someone else did. And I think when people make statements, witnesses, bystanders, and the victim themselves, it's a risk if it's gonna go to a criminal charge to have multiple lawyers involved with those statements. And if this office is not in collaboration with the public defender and the district attorney office, it could be very dangerous for the person who's been harmed, because they could be confused and not know which way this is going. So I would support in the future rewriting this in a way where it's not a lot of lawyer involvement and service-based, and collaborate with the office, because there are going to be people that use both the legal system or just need help because they don't want to use that system. But you can't get this going without that collaboration, because it could be dangerous for testimony and evidence. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Berry. Member Lee.
Yeah, Chair Mahogany, I want to really thank you for your remarks, because I feel very aligned to what you had shared. I will say that I think many of you know I have a new job where I'm working very regularly with Asian American and Pacific Islander victims of anti-Asian hate, violence, xenophobia, racism, etc. There's a few comments I want to make here. First, I strongly agree with the importance of removing law enforcement as a requirement of receiving services. Regardless of how you feel about the district attorney's victim services, I believe that there have been historic and fundamental failures of the DA victim services that I believe that District Attorney Boudin has begun to attempt to address. Regardless of whether you agree with that or you don't agree, the truth is that you should not have to be justice involved and involved in the court system to receive services. I think that this ballot measure would create some sort of recourse for victims and survivors to actually receive services without having to go through that process at all. I think that's huge. So for example, if I was a sexual assault survivor, but I did not feel comfortable pressing charges or going to SFPD to do a rape kit or to go through the district attorney's system, I would not be eligible, would never be eligible to receive district attorney's victim services support. Or it would be incredibly difficult and would not be prioritized. Given that, I think that there needs to be some level of support identified that is victim-centered. Second, the piece around consolidation and the questions around funding, the ballot measure states that a consolidation plan needs to be developed, and any decision about funding and what to do about, the consolidation analysis would still require Board of Supervisor action. And I just want to be honest here. The truth is that Supervisor Catherine Stephanie does not have a voting block majority on the Board of Supervisors. And so that collaboration would inevitably have to occur amongst our 11 Board of Supervisors before any kind of consolidation of services and figuring out of what happens at OEWD versus HRC versus you name it. All of that and the decisions around funding would still require Board of Supervisor action. So I would like to give our Board of Supervisors a little bit more credit that they would scrutinize the heck out of any kind of changes when it comes to policy and funding. The next thing I'll say is that I think that historically, this is just a statement of all time everywhere. is that there have just been a real failure of victim services. This is not a San Francisco specific thing. This is not any one departmental thing. When I've seen the cases where language access has completely failed AAPI victims, is so you so quickly see the failures of our system and who is prioritized in our systems. I think given that, I am inclined to vote yes on this because let's give it a shot. And that there are still so many checks and balances in place before anything changes with our existing services and any funding is placed anywhere. And I do not believe that this measure would really change the district attorney's authority over the DA's Victim Services Bureau. I do agree with the need for collaboration. My understanding is that Supervisor Stephanie has worked with a handful of legal aid organizations, some that I really respect, like Bay Area Legal Aid. So I believe that there is still room for the collaboration, and I also think that this measure is going to just pass the voters. And I think we should all really consider that. I think that once Prop D goes to voters, I think it's going to be a very, a measure that passes overwhelmingly. So with all that in mind, I'll just end my comments there. But I appreciate everything that others have said.
Let's see, it looks like Treasurer Ma's proxy has their hand up.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to say that this is something that truly matters to Treasurer Ma. She has been a leader in working with domestic violence survivors throughout her career, and that in a time of rising attacks on AAPI communities, it's important to have a dedicated office. And so that's really all I wanted to add on behalf of the treasurer. Thank you.
Well, members, thank you for all your comments on a very heated and very personal topic. Shall we take a vote? If so, then I will turn this over to Secretary Lee. Thank you.
Yep. All right. Your options here are for Proposition D, the creation of an Office of Victim and Witness Rights and a right to counsel for DV victims. Your options are yes, no, no endorsement, or abstain. So I'll start at the top. Member Avalos.
Abstain.
Member Baraka.
No endorsement.
Member Barry. Sorry, I didn't get that. Member Barry.
No endorsement.
Thank you, Member Barry. No endorsement. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen.
Abstain.
Member Chen, abstain. Member Duffy.
Apologize by proxy, yes.
Member Duffy, yes. Member Galata.
No endorsement.
Member Galata, no endorsement. Member Ibanez.
No endorsement.
Member Ibanez, no endorsement. Member Kim.
Yes.
Member Kim, yes. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee, yes. Member Lovett.
No endorsement.
Member Lovett, no endorsement. Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
Chair Mahogany, yes. Member Mendelman.
Yes.
Member Mendelman, yes. Member Maliga.
Yes.
Member Maliga, yes. Member Morales.
No.
Member Morales, no. Member Raju.
No endorsement.
Member Raju, no endorsement. Member Ronan.
No.
Member Ronan, no. Member Thomas.
Abstain.
Member Thomas, abstain. Member Tung.
Yes.
Member Tung, yes. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Williams, yes. Member Feinstein.
Yes.
Member Feinstein, yes. Member Kounalakis.
Yes.
Member Kounalakis, yes. Member Ma.
Yes.
Member Ma, yes. Member Cohen.
Yes.
Member Cohen, yes. Member Weiner.
Yes.
Member Weiner, yes. All right. With 15 yes, 2 no, 3 abstentions, and 6 no endorsement, this measure simply needs 50 plus 1. And with 15 yes, congratulations. SF Democratic County Central Committee is yes on Prop D.
Thank you, Secretary Lee. Okay, let's move on. So Prop E is behested payments. So briefly, The San Francisco Board of Supervisors already did adopt legislation in December of 2021 unanimously to curb public officials from soliciting these types of payments, could be money, goods, or services, from parties that have fiduciary interests and contracts with the city. So this ordinance essentially adds the Board of Supervisors themselves, to not seek behested payments. And it also increases the threshold to amend the ordinance. We did recommend a yes endorsement from the Issues and Resolutions Committee. Any discussion? I see one hand, and that's Member Secretary Baños.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Levitt. I urge the support of our of all of my colleagues here today to support the this proposition. We've in San Francisco, as everyone knows, we have been faced with scandals and corruption, and this ordinance basically will help to eliminate that. And it's actually, at the end of the day, it's about good governance. It's making sure that what it says behested, that our elected officials and directors, high levels within the city, not to get funds or to do paid to play. I think this is one way of stopping that. And I think it's important for us to ensure, especially we want to make sure that that stops. Sorry, I'm exhausted today. So my thing is that this is about clean government, it's good governance, and we need to ensure that it goes into that direction. So I urge you to support this. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Baños. Member Tang.
Thank you, Vice Chair Levitt. So I have some concerns about Prop E. I understand that it's coming from a place of good governance, but I think it will also wind up harming the city's ability to partner with community organizations and philanthropists on critical programs. Some of those programs include and have in the past been providing COVID relief and recovery through financial assistance, job placement, small business aid, and health services, promoting COVID testing, vaccination, outreach, and education, fighting homelessness through shelter services and permanent supportive housing, building critical affordable housing, providing extracurricular activities and additional learning opportunities to kids in struggling communities, internships, employment training opportunities, mental health and addiction services and facilities, promoting community revitalization, improving street conditions, supporting community neighborhood centers and providing senior services. And the list kind of goes on, but I think that in the name of good governance, Prop E actually is sledgehammer, a one-size-fits-all approach that will do more harm than good, and jeopardize important partnerships that the city has. So I will be voting no on this one.
Thank you, Member Tang. Are there any others in the stack? Hands raised. And I invite you, if you have 2 extra hours, you could go to our Facebook page for San Francisco Democrats and watch the endorsement interviews if you want to actually hear from proponents. But right now we are just trying to have the discussion and then move through the voting process. So without further ado, looks like we have another member there with Secretary Lee, and either you or your canine companion can help us to do the vote count.
This is Spoons. He is mostly deaf and mostly blind, so and also a dog, so he might not be able to help so much. So this is Prop E regarding behested payments. Your options are yes, no endorsement, or abstain. At the top, Member Avalos.
Yes.
Member Avalos, yes. Member Baraka.
Yes.
Member Baraka, yes. Member Berry.
Yes.
Member Berry, yes. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen.
Yes.
Member Chen, yes. Member Dufty.
Yes.
Member Dufty, yes. Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Galata, yes. Member Haiti. Member Ibanez.
Yes.
Member Ibanez, yes. Member Kim. Member Kim. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee, yes. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Lovett, yes. Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
Chair Mahogany, yes. Member Mandelman.
No.
Member Mandelman, no. Member Maliga.
Yes.
Member Maliga, yes. Member Morales.
Yes.
Member Morales, yes. Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Raju, yes. Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Ronan, yes. Member Thomas.
Yes.
Okay, he doesn't want to do vote counting. Member Thomas, yes. Member Tong.
No.
Member Tong, no. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Williams, yes. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein, abstain. Member Kounalakis. Member Kounalakis. Member Ma.
No endorsement.
Member Ma, no endorsement. Member Cohen.
Abstain.
Member Cohen, abstain. Member Weiner.
No.
Member Weiner, no. And just checking, Member Kim, are you still there?
Abstain.
Member Kim, abstain. All right, with a total of yes, total of 18 yes, 3 no, 3 abstentions, and 1 no endorsement. The yes votes gets 50+1. So congratulations, SF Democratic County Central Committee is yes on Prop E.
Thank you, Secretary Lee. So that was 5 down, 2 more local propositions to go for June 2022. So we now have Prop F, which is refuse collection and disposal. Very exciting. So in San Francisco, refuse is basically about ecology. Been around for 90 years. This proposition would have guardrails so that the rates for refuse collection don't increase, don't change without accountability. So if it's passed, the controller would take the reins on a process on this board that has slipped through under Department of Public Works. So that said, we do recommend from the committee an endorsement of yes on Prop F. Any comments from members? No comments about refuse. Should we take a vote then? Checking, going once, twice. Okay, Secretary Lee.
Member, your options are yes, no, no endorsement, or abstain, and this is for Prop F on refuse collection and disposal. Member Avalos.
Yes.
Member Avalos, yes. Member Baraka.
Yes.
Member Baraka, yes. Member Berry.
Yes.
Member Berry, yes. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen.
Yes.
Member Chen, yes. Member Dufty.
Yes.
Member Dufty, yes. Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Galata, yes. Member Ibanez.
Yes.
Member Ibanez, yes. Member Kim.
Yes.
Member Kim, yes. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee, yes. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Lovett, yes. Member Mahogany.
Yes.
Member Mahogany, yes. Member Mandelman.
Yes.
Member Mandelman, yes. Member Moliga.
Yes.
Member Moliga, yes. Member Morales.
Yes.
Member Morales, yes. Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Raju, yes. Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Ronan, yes. Member Thomas.
Yes.
Member Thomas, yes. Member Tong.
Yes.
Member Tong, yes. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Williams, yes. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein, abstain. Member Kounalakis. Sorry, noted that Member Kounalakis will now be abstaining for the remaining measures. Member Ma.
Yes.
Member Ma, yes. Member Cohen.
Yes.
Member Cohen, yes. Member Weiner.
Yes.
Member Weiner, yes. With a total of 24 yes, 0 no, 2 abstentions, and 0 no endorsements. The SF Democratic County Central Committee is yes on Prop F.
Thank you, Secretary Lee. We are united. So now let's go on to Prop G, our final one for June 2022 amongst the local ballot measures, and that is public health emergency leave. So this would apply to private and public employers with 100 employees or more. and would provide an additional equivalent of 2 weeks of sick leave during a public health emergency. And that includes an air quality provision, taking wildfires into account. There is a similar law in effect in the state that provides paid leave during the pandemic. It's set to expire September 30th, and this does not add on or duplicate, if you will. So do we have any discussion on this particular item? I don't see anything in stack, and I don't see anything, any hands raised. So shall we take a vote? Secretary Lee.
Yes, so this is for Prop G regarding public health emergency leave. Your options are yes, no, no endorsement, or abstain. Member Oblos.
Pass.
Pass. Member Baraka.
Yes.
Member Baraka, yes. Member Berry.
Yes.
Member Berry, yes. Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Campos, yes. Member Chen.
Yes.
Member Chen, yes. Member Dufty.
Yes.
Member Dufty, yes. Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Galata, yes. Member Ibanez.
Yes.
Member Ibanez, yes. Member Kim.
Yes.
Member Kim, yes. Member Lacroix.
Yes.
Member Lacroix, yes. Member Lee, yes. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Member Lovett, yes. Member Mahogany.
Yes.
Member Mahogany, yes. Member Mandelman.
Yes.
Member Mandelman, yes. Member Moliga.
Yes.
Member Moliga, yes. Member Morales.
Yes.
Member Morales, yes. Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Raju, yes. Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Ronan, yes. Member Thomas.
Yes.
Member Thomas, yes. Member Tong.
No position.
Member Tong, no position. Member Williams. Member Williams,
So sorry, I couldn't get unmuted. Yes.
you're all good. Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Feinstein abstain. Member Kunalakis is abstain. Member Ma.
Yes.
Member Ma, yes. Member Cohen.
Yes.
Member Cohen, yes. Member Weiner.
Yes.
Member Weiner, yes. And then Member Oblos, I had you as a pass.
That's right, but I'll vote yes. Thank
Got
you.
it. Thank you. So with 23 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain, and 1 no endorsement, congratulations. The SF Democratic County Central Committee has voted yes on Prop G.
Thank you, Secretary Lee, and thank you to all the members for your thoughtful comments and your voting through this process. I will hand this back to Chair Mahogany for the resolutions that we have ahead of us.
Once again, thank you to Vice Chair Lovett for her leadership in this and for running this section of the meeting and giving me a little bit of a break. So thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. And thanks for everyone for participating in the conversation and for voting today. We will now move on to our resolutions, starting with item number 9, which is a resolution in support of SB 222, a California Water Rate Assistance Program. Yesterday was actually World Water Day, which is a time to celebrate how vital water is to all of us. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to, I think I have to ask for this item to be heard. So can I have a motion to consider this item, please?
So move.
Second.
Thank you very much. I'll just continue on where I left off my remarks. Basically World Water Day is to raise awareness about billions of people who still need a clean source of water, many of which come from lower income communities and from communities of color. As of January 2022, the SFPUC had almost 8,000 customer accounts with 7.4 million in unpaid water and wastewater bills. While many of these customers will be receiving a debt relief thanks to the appropriation of state and federal funds, many were actually unable to pay their water and wastewater bills prior to the pandemic. For more than 2 decades, California has had 2 customer assistance programs, CARE and FARA, to help low-income customers pay their energy bills. As of today, no program exists to help low-income rate taxpayers, low income ratepayers for water and wastewater bills. But SB 222 would establish a long needed framework for a statewide water affordability assistance program that would help provide water affordability assistance for both drinking and wastewater services to low income ratepayers. I want to thank Senators Dodd, Gonzalez, Hurtado, and Weiner for their leadership on this issue. And colleagues, I hope to have your support. Is there anyone else who would like to provide comment on this item? Member Barry.
Yes, Chair. I just have a question. What will be considered low income? Because I know SFMTA uses the federal standards, and that's horrible. So do you know?
Actually, that's a good question. I am not sure how it is defined in the legislation. I would assume that it is either state or federal, since it is a state bill. Are there any other comments or questions? Member or Vice Chair Galata.
Thanks, Chair Mahogany. I just want to be added as a co-sponsor, and with my day hat working for the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, I think this is much needed in terms of providing additional support to our customers, particularly many of whom on the water, wastewater, and power side have been in arrears, particularly during the pandemic. And so I think additional support from the state in terms of state funding and also just expanding assistance programs locally is so necessary. So just thank you for bringing this forward and to the leadership at the state level on this issue.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. Are there any others who'd like to provide comment? I don't see any hands. So colleagues, I'm wondering if it might be possible to take this without objection. Seeing no objections, this resolution is adopted. Thank you for your support. Item number 10 is a resolution in support of enhanced clinically integrated programs for community clinics. This is my item. I'm wondering if I can have a motion to consider this item.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Avalos and seconded by Barry. Much appreciation. Colleagues, community clinics provide primary and preventative care for 6 million Californians, including a third of Medi-Cal recipients. Community clinics have played a vital role in the safety net, but years of underfunding compounded by the financial shocks of the pandemic and longstanding challenges to retain and train staff have pushed clinics and their healthcare workers to a breaking point. Clinics have reported staff turnover of almost 20%, which have led to disruptions in care and longer wait times. Without the ability to offer competitive wages, clinics are losing healthcare workers to burnout and higher paying jobs. San Francisco has 12 community clinics operating from 27 sites, primarily located in districts 3, 6, 9, and 10, and providing care to more than 110,000 patients. 89% of these patients are people of color, including 64% API and 18% Latino. Nearly 54% of patients are below the federal poverty line and 60% are Medi-Cal recipients. California State Senate Bill 1014, authored by Senators Hertzberg, Carrillo, Calra, and Weiner, and Rivas, would require the State Department of Healthcare Services to authorize a new payment program for federally qualified health clinics pursuant to federal law, and also support the ability of FQHCs to pay wages, conduct workforce training, and improve delivery of care. I want to thank Senators Hertzberg, Carrillo, Calra, Weiner, and Rivas for their leadership on this issue. And colleagues, I hope to have your support for this resolution. Would any of my colleagues like to provide comment on this item?
I would like to move this item. Or...
Call to question. Can we take this item without objection? I seeing no objections, we will adopt item number 10. Moving on to item number 11, this is a resolution in support of the people of Ukraine. Can I have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Avalos was moved, and who's the person that seconded?
Williams.
Williams, thank you, Member Williams. Colleagues, tomorrow marks 1 month since the Russian invasion began in the Ukraine, a country which declared its independence from the Soviet Union more than 30 years ago. According to a study released on Monday by the International Organization for Migration, almost 6.48 million people have been internally displaced in Ukraine as a direct result of this war. Human Rights Watch and international monitors, the Russian armed forces have committed grave violations of international humanitarian and human rights law, including violations against children's rights, the use of explosive weapons, including cluster munitions in populated areas, and indiscriminate attacks on civilians, homes, and non-military infrastructure, causing immeasurable harm to Ukrainians who are either defending their homes or being forced to flee and watch from abroad as these horrors take place. Those impacted by this devastating attack include more than 112,000 Ukrainians who call California home. This resolution that I'm introducing today condemns the Russian attacks on Ukraine and stands with the people of Ukraine and the Ukrainian President Zelensky, President Joseph Biden, the United States, and its allies in opposing this war. It also supports the efforts of Congress to put pressure on Russia to stop these attacks. Colleagues, would anyone else like to provide comment on this item? Seeing, Member Barry.
This is going to be unpopular, but I'm going to abstain only because I don't know, I'm not educated enough on the role the United States has played in this prior to the invasion, with money to Ukraine and weapons and whatnot. I'm definitely opposed to what's happening there, but I don't know the logistics and the plays and politics with who wants nuclear weapons where and whatnot. But I know that's not a popular stance to take, but I'm just really confused by the matter. And anybody call me to help me understand better, that would be great. But I just wonder about the long history of who wants nuclear weapons where and who wants the power. And I'm sorry. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Member Barry. Given Member Barry's abstention on this, I think that means that we need to take a roll call vote. Member Lee, Recording Secretary Lee, can we call the roll?
Yes, we can do that. All right, so your options are yes, no, or abstain for this resolution in support of the people of Ukraine. Member Avalos.
Yes.
Member Baraka.
Yes.
Member Barry.
Abstain.
Member Campos.
Yes.
Member Chen. Member Dufty.
Yes.
Member Galata.
Yes.
Member Abanez.
Yes.
Member Kim. Member Lacroix. Member Lee, yes. Member Lovett.
Yes.
Chair Mahogany.
Yes.
Member Mandelman.
Yes.
Member Maliga.
Yes.
Member Morales.
Abstain.
Member Raju.
Yes.
Member Ronan.
Yes.
Member Thomas.
Yes.
Member Tong. Member
Yes.
Tong. Thank you. Member Williams.
Yes.
Member Feinstein.
Yes.
Member Kunalakis will, I don't think they're present. Member Ma.
Yes.
Member Cohen.
Yes.
Sorry, Member Weiner.
Yes.
And just to check if Member Chen or Member Kim are present.
Member Chen, yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Oh.
yes for both of them. Thank you.
Sorry, I thought I was unmuted.
I don't have like a counter all set up, but there were all yeses and 2 abstentions. So this motion carries.
Thank you, Recording Secretary Lee and Gesundheit. We will now move on to item number 12, which is a resolution in support of protecting sexual assault survivor DNA. This item is, the sponsor is Member Morales, and I'm wondering if her proxy has comments that they'd like to provide.
I don't at this time.
Member
Carolina.
Morales actually joined us.
Oh, wonderful. Okay, then colleagues, can we have, colleagues, can we have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Oh, second.
So moved by Member Thomas and seconded by Member Ibanez.
Ibanez.
Thank you. Member Morales, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you everybody for your patience as I'm in the South Bay dealing with a last-minute personal issue, and thank you, Natalie, for being my proxy tonight. Colleagues, this evening, I am introducing this resolution together with Chair Mahogany, and I'm sorry I don't have the document before me to see if we have other co-sponsors, but I'm sure you all have been reading in the paper the really kind of gross misconduct by our police department that I'm really glad Chief Scott has since corrected in terms of using the DNA of a sexual assault survivor to charge her in a minor property crime incident. It's really appalling that this is happening in our city after many, many years of having survivors already make serious complaints about law enforcement in particular not doing a good job to support survivors. And I thank you to Assemblymember Phil Ting and Senator Scott Wiener for putting forth this bill to protect the identity of survivors and their DNA material so it may not be used by police departments across the state, really, to charge them with any crime, as it should only be used as in the matter of their victimhood and the crime that they were that they experienced, right, that they were victims of. So I hope that you can all join in supporting this resolution and that we can stand together with survivors of sexual assault and sexual abuse who go through that very difficult process of being, I want to say tested, because truly it's a really horrendous process of I don't want to be graphic and explain, but I think it's worth mentioning that basically every cavity in the body gets swiped. Sorry for my ESL this evening in not pronouncing the word correctly, but it's just very invasive procedure and can be re-traumatizing and violating, as compassionate as our medical professionals are in our city, throughout the country. So thank you, everybody, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Morales. Proxy for Senator Wiener.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany, and thank you to the sponsor for bringing this resolution forward. I'd like to ask for an amendment to the resolution. I haven't gone through this before. Can I just, okay, so the 4th paragraph, sorry, you were going to say something.
Oh, I was just going to say, you can go ahead and tell us orally, and if you can maybe submit it in the chat, just so that we make sure to get it right. That'd be great.
Yeah, so in the 4th paragraph, it says, resolved that the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee supports SB 1228, and then the amendment would be to add authored by Senator Scott Wiener, comma, and then that would be the extent of the amendment.
Thank you. Member Morales, do you accept that amendment?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Would anyone else like to provide comment on this item? Seeing none, colleagues, can we have actually a motion to accept this item as, or to vote on this item as amended?
So move.
Do we have a second?
Second.
All right. Can we take this by acclamation, or I'm sorry, by without objection? I believe we can. Congratulations, Member Morales and Senator Wiener, on the approval of this resolution. We will now move on to item number 13, which is a resolution opposing the downsizing of City College of San Francisco and urging action to fully fund the college. This was introduced by Vice Chair Glada. Do we have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Second.
Moved by Member Thomas and seconded by Member Ibanez. Vice Chair Glada, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany and colleagues. So I just want to start off first by just thanking the many members of the public who spoke tonight during public comment, and also who've provided comment in writing to us. Thank you, Executive Director Garcia, for sharing those comments that also came in. And I was just really moved by the students who gave testimony tonight and who shared their personal experiences. Amber, Angelica, Deborah, Danon, Mikey, thank you for being here, for taking time out to come and speak, and for sharing your story. I think what we heard tonight is both deep concern for City College, but also a deep appreciation and love for what City College does and offers our community in San Francisco. And I think we all agree that City College is a unique and special institution, and that a thriving, successful college is really paramount for the future of our city, especially as we recover from the COVID-19 pandemic. And City College not only provides essential access to higher education for so many first-generation, historically marginalized students in our city, but it also provides good paying union jobs for our community. And it's concerning, I think, that the same solutions that are being proposed by the administration of the college to address the college challenges are continuing. Cuts to faculty and staff lead to fewer classes and programs, which lead to fewer students being able to access the classes they need, which leads to lower enrollment and perpetuates a shrinking college and a vicious cycle of death by 1,000 cuts. I think it's important for the San Francisco Democratic Party to continue to stand up and support the students, faculty, and staff of the college. We've supported Free City College when it was on the ballot in 2016. We've supported bond measures to help fund operations and maintenance needs at the college. And now we need to stand up and support the faculty and staff and the students who are impacted by these pending layoffs, so we can reverse this tide of cuts, defend access to public higher education, and ensure City College remains a community college for all in San Francisco. The San Francisco Democratic Party has long stood with our labor partners and allies in this struggle. And I want to acknowledge the partnership with AFT 2121 and SEIU 10-1, who we've been working in solidarity with on this resolution. And I want to especially thank Adele Carpenter, political director of AFT 21 and 21, for her leadership and support. I think, as one of the students who spoke tonight said it so perfectly, investment in City College is an investment in San Francisco. And that is the investment that we need to be fighting for. So I'm going to keep my comments brief. I want to ensure that co-sponsors and other members are also able to speak on this. And I just want to really thank co-sponsors Ibanez, Morales, Lovett, Avalos, and Thomas for their support and work on this resolution. And I will yield the rest of my time. Thank you, Chair Mahogany.
Thank you, Vice Chair Glada. Vice Chair Lovett.
So I want to speak as someone who worked at City College as a faculty member for 15 years. And from that work, which was deeply rewarding, I served students who were first generation in college, who were formerly incarcerated, some students who were homeless, either visibly or not, and even during the pandemic. Of course, students from our BIPOC communities, amazing students with such determination. So students, ages 16 to 80. And this was truly a community college when I started back in 2004. I saw so many changes through the Great Recession. As I look back, that was a walk in the park compared to all the drama that's happened since the 2012 accreditation crisis, as one of the public comment people noted. And so I was deeply involved. And I will say that I've seen so many cycles around this battle of enrollment and declining enrollment, declining funding, which is intricately tied. And that's also tied to the livelihoods of these students. And these students who are vital members of our communities, they have families, children, parents, grandmas. I can speak more about all of that. And you've heard these stories. It's better to hear it coming from the students. I will say also that, when you hear about these labor struggles, look up this story from the SF Examiner just last week. They were looking at 3 colleges in San Francisco, showdown on San Francisco community college campuses, so actually private colleges as well. And so this crisis is also one of our workers. And we're not talking workers who are dispensable and exchangeable, because that is the model of 21st century, well, 19th, 20th, 21st century, Western civilization, right? Unions have given people a way to ensure that, they have fair wages and they have fair conditions. But especially when you're looking at education, these workers who are teachers, who are counselors, who are social service providers, who help with financial aid, who connect you with CalWorks and services and deal with so many issues in people's lives, they are so connected to a network of all these people who rely on them. And so when you impact 50 full-time faculty, or the hundreds potentially of part-timers who'd be laid off, or the staff who are also facing pink slips, then you are actually impacting the lives of so many more. It's by a factor of 10 or 100, because the students will not be getting those services. And so I strongly support this resolution, having been in those trenches and worked with my students and worked with my colleagues at that time, and continuing to see this crisis that doesn't have to be a crisis if we work together. So thank you very much. I'll pass this on.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lovett. Member Ibanez.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahogany. And I am not going to take long with my comments. I just want to say that both my colleagues Lovett, or Member Lovett, and Member Galata have very said a lot of things that I wanted to say. But one of the things that I do want to say and emphasize is that this resolution has labor and community support. We heard it tonight, not only students, but we also heard from faculty and community members, because we understand how important City College in San Francisco is. It's just not a city college, it's a community college, which is so important and so key. The other thing that I want to remind everyone, that when enrollment drops, it does not increase enrollment. Basically, it's the other way around. So enrollment decreases, also the number of students decrease, and that also has an impact on the financial of the City College. So we need to ensure that we bring more resources to ensure that that enrollment increases and that there's more access to City College. We know that City College, provides an opportunity not just to be able to go to a higher level of education, to a higher institution of education, but also it provides a career path to a lot of students that want to do that instead of going to a higher education The other thing too, even though that the budget does not mandate layoffs, it I'm not going to go into that detail. Member Lovett did touch on that, but we need to ensure that we, as I said, that we need to bring those resources that are greatly needed. And as an educator, I can't emphasize how important it is for us to have those resources, specifically for those resources to go into the classroom. It's not just about the staff, the students. At the end of the day, a student mentioned, it's investing in our city, and that's what we need to do. So I strongly urge your support in this resolution. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Member Berry.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. And also I want to give a shout out to our Executive Director, Moises Garcia. He's doing an amazing job without any interns, and thank you. As far as this resolution is concerned, I will be supporting it. However, I do want to make some comments about education, period. One, crime is directly correlated to education. So the more we cut any resource when it comes to education, the more crime will increase. Think about that. Also, even though it's a K through 12 situation for me, my daughter received a layoff notice, and it is morally, the morale at her school, when you get those notices and still supposed to teach, even if you find emergency funds at a later date, it increases the feeling of teachers wanting to leave and go to another county. And you lose a lot of good people that way, especially our younger teachers who want to really have the passion still in their heart. And this discourages that passion. I feel for also Member Williams, the elephant in the room. Let's not, forget about her, but it's not so much of their problem as much as politics. Sometimes funding to them gets blocked for one reason or another. Struggling to get classes in the Bayview district is ridiculous. People talk about the Bayview so much, but don't care about us having college here. And lastly, I wanted to say, a lot of people are in position here. I wish more concentration would be towards our governor to raise funding for education. I got so fed up about this subject. I went right up to him at the convention in Long Beach. I said, hey, don't forget about the Bayview district. He's like, what's going on there? I said, we need education, period, in San Francisco. He said, well, and again, I know this is K-12 level on his comment, but he said, well, we're not in the bottom 10 anymore. Well, we're number 36 in the country. This state has so much money. So everybody who's in a position that can advocate for more money, period, on all level, university level, community college level, and K through 12, we need to do that, or stop complaining about homeless or people on drugs or all these other situations people complain about, and we're not educating people to pull themselves out of it. I'm a graduate of City College San Francisco. I got my associates. I wouldn't have been able to get even my associates if it wasn't for that school. So I'm supporting it, but we all got to do better in getting more money into education. All of us, no matter what level you are. It's ridiculous for this state to have that much money, a surplus, and not care about the youth and even people who want to re-enter the workforce. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Berry. Member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Mahogany. I'll keep this brief. I'm proud to add my voice to the members of AFT 2121, SEIU 1021, all the students at City College, and even myself as a City College, community college graduate, which is the first of my family to go through it. It's absolutely important that we have these classes and keep it as a community college, and to hear the voices that we've heard tonight. I understand that there are challenges and that need to be addressed, and these are tough conversations that need to be had, but we need to make sure and prioritize the voices of working people. This is not the time to balance budgets or to look at these things on the backs of workers. So I wholeheartedly support this resolution. I applaud Member Galata for bringing it and the leadership of putting it together, and the ample negotiations that have taken place over the previous weeks. And I encourage everybody to vote for this.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Member Avalos.
Thank you. Just want to thank everyone for their hard work on this resolution, and want to really appreciate the mobilization of students and faculty who came tonight as well. It was very moving to hear that, and just how much from people from all walks of life, how City College has affected their lives. It actually reminded me that, about almost 30 years ago, I did a bridge to college program for a lot of young people in San Francisco who didn't do well in high school, and they were looking to see what college was all about. And I taught at City College for a semester on a Friday. And just how much people who didn't think that college was for them to be on that campus and to experience, learning and being taught was something that was really remarkable. And I think that's what City College actually does for a lot of people in this city. It's a real beacon of hope. And we need to actually making sure that it's funded adequately, and that our faculty and our students can continue on to ensure that the college is there for not just future generations, the current one, which is not getting the access that it truly needs. So thank you everyone for your participation tonight. And I'll be voting, of course, in favor of this resolution. I also, I do think it's important to acknowledge the hard work that our trustees like Chanel Williams has to face in all of this. We're dealing with austerity, and the choices are really, really difficult. So I just want to make sure that Member Williams, that we do support your struggle there. We know that's a very difficult one.
Thank you, Member Avalos. Member Lee.
Yeah, I have some brief comments here. It heartens me to see the compassion we all have for for one another and for our colleagues, especially Member Williams. I do want to note the desire from Member Williams to introduce another resolution on this issue. I don't know if there's offers here of amendments. I would certainly want to surface them now and have a discussion here. I know it's late, but I still think it's worth it. Ultimately, though, and especially if we would have had competing or multiple resolutions on this topic, I really, really just do not feel that DCCC should have to serve as an arbitrator or a mediator in this way between labor partners and the City College Board of Trustees. Work your shit out. We're here for you. We can work together and make it happen, but we shouldn't need resolutions as a way to ensure that people are talking to one another and collaborating. And so for all the parties involved, I really hope you take this resolution and this discussion seriously, as if this is the thing that you're all right, we'll pick up the phone, or let's sit down and hash this out. I hope you take tonight in this resolution as that window of opportunity to do that. I don't envy anyone's position who sits on the board of a public agency. You all know that I also do that, and we are in really tough times. But the only way that we're able to get through this, and I certainly learned this at the BART board, is we all have to sit down and be honest about the challenges that we face, and not talking is not going to get us there any faster. So all I'm saying is talk to one another, and this isn't about supporting or not supporting a resolution. It's to make sure that City College is thriving. And I do believe that that is the end goal that we should all be striving for.
Thank you, Member Lee. I just want to make another brief comment added to the bunch, but I wanted to say, thank you, Vice Chair Galata, for your leadership on this, and also thank you to Member Williams for her leadership on the City College Board. I know it isn't easy, and that there's a huge task in front of you. And also, I think that this body is very clear in its support for our educators, our partners in labor, and also of City College, for which so many of us have gone through, and so many people in this city rely on. I do want to associate myself, though, specifically with Member Barry's comments that as we put forward this resolution, that we also make sure that in the future, as opportunities come to support moves to acquire more funding for City College, that we also support those things, because I do think that some of those concerns around where the money is going to come from and how we're going to get past this crisis are very real. I think making sure that the City College remains an accredited institution is also very real, and so making sure that as we support our educators and support preventing layoffs, that we're also figuring out ways and working towards helping meet any sort of funding gaps that we need in order to make that happen. So thank you again, everyone who worked on this, and I am adding myself as a co-sponsor. Member Ibanez.
Thank you so much. I do want to emphasize one thing that it's really, really important, is that I do want to say that labor is working on solutions to defend public education. We're not airing out our problems in public. I want to make sure that we're clear on that. The other thing that I want to say is, like, as members of the DCCC, you guys ask labor for the same, we're asking political leaders that they've endorsed, that we have endorsed, and we're considering endorsing when these things come up, for you all to play a role in this as well. So we're not asking you to help and solve our problems. We know how to solve it as labor, and I want to make sure that that is really clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Colleagues, I don't see anyone else with their hand raised. So with that, I know that Member Williams has said that she will abstain on this resolution. Can we actually do this by acclamation? Is that possible? Is there anything that prevents us from doing that?
I will be abstaining.
All right, Member Kim will also be abstaining.
Member Mandelman will also be abstaining.
Okay, thank you. Is there any objection to doing this by acclamation? Okay, seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. And we have Member Mandelman, Member Kim, and Member Williams abstaining. Are there any other abstentions? All right, seeing none, this resolution is adopted. Congratulations. Member Galata, we will now, and all of the other co-sponsors of the resolution, we will now move on to item number 14, which is a resolution urging the Biden administration to fix the broken student loan system and cancel student loan debt, introduced by Vice Chair Galata and Member Williams. Vice Chair Galata, I will turn it over to you. Oh, I'm sorry. May we have a motion to hear this item?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Galata, or Vice Chair Galata. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Vice Chair Galata, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thanks, Chair Mahogany. So I know for me and for Member Williams, this issue is a personal one. We are both pursuing degrees and working full time, and also taking out student loans in the process. And I know this is an issue that's personal for many members of this committee, for so many students and families in our city and across the country. I'll just want to briefly say, I think pursuing higher education in America at this point feels much less personally and professionally enriching and much more financially crushing. Factoring in housing costs, childcare, putting food on the table, and general cost of living in places like the Bay Area, taking on education debt becomes simply one of many financial risks, with a lot of uncertainty as to whether you will ever get out from under it. in the richest country in the world, pursuing higher education shouldn't set you or your family back for life. It should lift you up and set you up for greater success and for the next generation's success. And the disparities around student debt are only exacerbating the widening income and racial wealth gap in the United States. Just a few data points on this. So data shows that 86% of Black students take out federal loans compared to just 59% of white students. 4 years after graduation, the average Black college graduate owes $52,000 compared to $28,000 for the average white college graduate. And the Roosevelt Institute has shown that canceling up to $50,000 of student loan debt per borrower would immediately increase the wealth of Black Americans by 40%. That statistic is particularly startling. Student debt cancellation is not regressive, it's progressive, and it needs to happen. Canceling student debt would drastically improve income and wealth disparities. As a presidential candidate, President Biden expressed his support for wide-scale student loan cancellation, and I think we all hope that the president keeps his promise. At minimum, the president has the opportunity to extend the pause on student loan payments, which did begin under the Trump administration in March 2020 after the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. The pause is expected to expire in May. And so this resolution is really calling for action that the Biden administration extend the pause, particularly in the moment that we find ourselves in, the economy, inflation, gas prices. I mean, we know that this is not the time to resume these payments, and that presents a huge issue for so many millions of students and families in the country. So I hope tonight the Democratic Party can join the hundreds of organizations throughout the country that are part of this movement to call the president to really task on this, to extend the repayment pause, and also fix the broken student loan system and cancel the debt that he promised that he would, and that really would significantly, dramatically change the lives of so many, particularly Black and Brown students and families in the country. And I will turn it over to my co-sponsor, Member Williams.
Thank you so much, Vice Chair Galata. As you all know, a whole generation is being left behind with the crippling student loan debt that our generation face. And I want to add actually an amendment to our whereas clause that, and I don't know if I should just read it out or add it to the chat, but the sentence is, I believe this is for the third whereas. I'll read out the whole whereas, but the crippling student debt crisis we are facing threatens to lock an entire generation out from reaching the American dream. Student debt is a major barrier to many borrowers being able to be financially stable, meet their basic needs, buy a home, and start their families. And this will go before our line that says the burden of student debt and the cost of our broken student loan system fall disproportionately on Black and Brown borrowers who, as a result of decades of racially discriminatory policies and practices that created and sustained the racial wealth and income gaps, often lack the familiar wealth necessary to avoid taking on student debt, and who are disproportionately blocked from exiting avenues for debt relief enacted by Congress now there, and then we go into the resolve clause. But many folks that I come across, most millennials, we talk about this, and especially living here in the Bay Area, the cost of living has already been said, inflation, all the things that we're facing. We really want to see some relief and be able to move forward in our lives. And so this is super important. And as Vice Chair Galata said, we are both in school taking out them loans. So, and I feel that folks that I talk to all the time really talk about the burden and how hard it is for them to meet their basic needs. So with that, we'll stop there.
Thank you, Member Williams and Vice Chair Galata. Colleagues, is there anyone else who'd like to provide comment on this item? Seeing none, can we pass this resolution without objection?
Yeah.
Oh, sounds like we can. Thank you, colleagues. And congratulations, members or Vice Chair Galata and Member Williams. We're now going to move on to item number 15, which was added earlier. We have 3 items actually that were added to the agenda. This first one is a resolution in opposition to AB 2808, prohibiting the use of ranked choice voting. I especially want to thank DNC member Sean Dugar for bringing this to my attention. Last month, Assemblymember Patrick O'Donnell, who is a Democrat from Long Beach, introduced AB 2808 that would prohibit the use of ranked choice voting. And here in San Francisco, we adopted ranked choice voting for local elections back in 2002, and it has been very successful. And we've been using it for 2 decades at this point. Ranked choice voting is a democratic process that has actually helped reduce costs. It has eliminated the need for voters to return to the polls for costly and low turnout runoff elections by effectively having the runoff built into the process. So I do not think that it is the place of the state party to overturn the will of the voters in local municipalities in this case, and telling us on how we can vote and how we should be conducting our elections. I think that ranked choice voting, if anything, perhaps the state party should consider, or the state should consider ranked choice voting as an option, so we don't have to deal with 3 runoff or 3 elections in a year. So therefore, I have brought forward this resolution, and I'm hoping that this isn't controversial and that I can have all of your support in this. Colleagues, would anyone else like to provide comment? Seeing none, I'm wondering if we can take this item without objection. Without objection, this item is adopted. Thank you for your support, colleagues. Up next, we have a resolution in support of San Francisco Unified School District educators. Colleagues, can we have a motion to consider this item?
So moved.
Hold on, can I just go back? We never had a motion or a second for item 15. So I want to make sure that we have that in the minutes. I'll move the item for approval.
Thank you. Member Lee, and then seconded by Member Thomas. Thank you. And we took that without objection. Thank you for correcting that for the record, Member Lee. Appreciate that. And now we have item number 16, which was I'm sorry, there was a motion, right, to have the item heard from? Was there a motion already made? If not, why don't we go ahead and make that motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. And is there a second?
Second.
All right, thank you, colleagues. I did introduce this resolution given all of the activity that had been happening with SFUSD and the teachers in San Francisco. As you know, many of our teachers were completely traumatized, overworked, and really relied upon throughout the pandemic, and yet now have been going months without pay. I do want to actually at this time pass this over to one of our members who is also a member of UESF and a leader at UESF to speak more broadly on this item. So at this time, I would like to hand it off to Secretary Ibanez.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahogany, for introducing this resolution. Just to give everyone an update, last week, educators occupied the district office because of the issues with payroll. Many of our members, as Chair Mahogany indicated, were not paid appropriately. Some of our members were overpaid, some of our members were underpaid. There were some other issues that has to do with the amount of money that goes into their pension, and an array of issues that has to do with payroll. Very fortunate, unfortunately, to say the least, we occupy the school district for 4 days, and it took 4 days for the district to agree on a memorandum of agreement to ensure that they would create a process where our educators will be paid in a timely manner rather than waiting for 1 or 2 months or having no process at all. The school board yesterday also passed a resolution as well, indicating that they want to create a process where our members who are facing this issue will be paid within 72 hours, which is what we wanted. We also wanted to ensure that we were also fighting for COVID, basically for COVID sick leave, which we had agreed in an MOU back in December. Again, it took an occupation for the district to acknowledge that they had agreed and recognize that they were going to recognize COVID sick leave retroactively to December 21st, because many of our members were also impacted when the surge of Omicron, and many of them had already used their personal sick leave and they no longer had any sick days left. And some of them needed their sick time. And so we're glad that the district agreed to this. So for us, this was something really important because, again, paying someone in a timely manner and actually paying them the right amount that they owe is something that's really basic, and it's actually the law. And so we came to an agreement, and a lot of this had to do with a lot of the support of many of you who are here today in the DCCC, many of our members who called in. I recognize some of you coming and delivering food and water and other things that we needed. And we had a lot of support, again, from families and parents and members of the community. And hope, so we're looking forward to ensuring that this issue will not continue, that there is now a process that was agreed between the district and UESF. And in regards to the layoffs, as member Gloria, some members received layoffs. One of the things that we've been fighting is that the layoffs should not be happening directly in the classroom for anyone that's providing direct services to our students, that those layoffs should be as far away from the classroom. One of the things that we have done that we know is that, and we're asking that if there's going to be any layoffs to be done as far away from the classroom. We know that in San Francisco Unified School District, in terms of upper management, has grown significantly. And we know that and based on our studies and assessments and analysis, we know that if you cut some positions at the very top, you could actually save a lot of the layoffs or the pink notices that went out to quite a few of our teachers. It's unfortunately, hopefully, the district will be able to rescind this. In this wealthy state of ours, we know that there's a surplus, and I know that the governor has made a commitment that some of that surplus is going to go into education, not just K to 12. Hopefully, it also goes to our community colleges. We need that money, especially more than ever with the pandemic and the needs that our kids have exacerbated. And again, we don't need, as I mentioned earlier, less resources does not help. We need resources. So I urge everyone, even though that we were able to get a win on this issue, that we were able to settle with the district, I think it's still important to send a message that issues like this needs to be resolved immediately. And with that, I ask for your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Ibanez. Colleagues, would anyone else like to provide comment on this item? Seeing none, I am wondering if this is something that we can do by without objection. Seeing no objections, this resolution is adopted unanimously. Thank you. Colleagues, we are nearing the end of our agenda. We have one last item, which is a resolution in support of Staff Up SF. Colleagues, as you know, the city is currently in the midst of labor negotiations. And part of these negotiations are really making sure that we as a city are fully staffed, meaning that there are several empty budgeted for positions in many departments across the city that just are routinely left open, and that makes it very hard for us to provide effective services, and has resulted in workers who are overtaxed and oftentimes tire out and are put in unsafe conditions occasionally. I do want to speak more to this, but I want to acknowledge that we have another strong labor partner here as a member, and that is Member Thomas, and I would like to reserve the rest of my comments for him.
Thank you so much, Chair Mahogany, and thank you for bringing this emergency resolution. It is very timely. In less than 12 hours, I'll be joining my labor siblings to go to City Hall and begin yet another round of bargaining. This afternoon, city workers had a huge rally out in front of City Hall and then marched down to Market Street. I know I saw a lot of you there. And the march was to urge the mayor and her administration to staff up San Francisco. Tens of thousands of city workers are in the process of negotiating our next collective bargaining agreement with the city. Earlier today, members of the Board of Supervisors held a hearing during the Budget and Finance Committee on the chronic short staffing across the Department of Public Health, including at San Francisco General Hospital, and that is impacting patient care and the ability of residents to access services. City management has already admitted that there are over 3,800 vacancies citywide, a figure that represents roughly 10% of the total positions the city is budgeted for. These vacancies have an undeniable impact on the quality and the speedy delivery of services from city departments. There's no coincidence that some of the departments hardest hit by vacancies are also tasked with addressing some of the city's most pressing challenges that we talk about here in our meetings. This includes the Department of Public Works, Department of Homeless and Supportive Housing, Department of Environment, Department of Economic and Workforce Development, San Francisco's International Airport, and the Department of Planning. These have a vacancy rate of anywhere from 29% to 16%. Colleagues, I ask you to support this resolution and hold our city leaders accountable to staff up San Francisco's essential services with permanent employees, to win a robust investment in the common good that will lead us out of this pandemic into a brighter future. This is incredibly important. It's a top priority for all the public employees within the San Francisco Labor Council, and we are really counting on your support. And I really want to thank everybody who's already committed or agreed to co-sponsor or come to our rallies. It really means a lot to labor to see our allies standing up and standing with us. So thank you.
Thank you, Member Thomas. Member Mar.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank you, Chair Mahogany, for bringing this resolution forward, and thank you, Member Thomas, for your your leadership and your great framing of the issue. I just wanted to add that this understaffing, systemic understaffing in our city government has been a problem, a major problem for many years, before the pandemic. And then it just grew to the point of being a crisis in the last few years. And, as Member Thomas has stated, there's over 3,000 vacant positions currently, and the departments just have failed to fill these positions, and so that our existing workforce, essential workers, city workers, are just having to carry the burden of that with extra work, overtime, and just the stress on the job. And then our communities really suffer, especially the low income communities that really rely on our city, for public transit, and for all important services. So this is really a crisis, has become a crisis in our city government. And as Member Thomas stated, it's been a topic of a lot of discussion in hearings. I was on the budget committee today, in the budget committee hearing on the understaffing at General Hospital and in DPH that we've had hearings about for 2 years now. So thanks again for bringing this forward. This is a really critical moment. Yeah, because of the labor negotiations, because the board the mayor really is in her budget process right now. We need to ensure that she addresses this issue and really steps up our city to support the workers in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Mar. Vice Chair Galata.
Thanks, Chair Mahogany, for your remarks, Member Thomas, and also Supervisor Member Mar as well. I just echo what's been said. I was out today at the rally. It was incredible to see just the union solidarity across city workers. I saw a lot of my fellow city workers. I'm local 21 member, and great to see so many SF DCCC members there as well. I think that the thing I just wanted to add too is that, during the pandemic, so many city workers stepped up and were essential workers during a crisis that our city had really hadn't seen in a very long time, and risked, serving at SF General, serving at shelter-in-place hotels, serving every day at the COVID Command Center for months and months and months on end, going away from their day-to-day jobs to serve and respond to a call for duty. And I just think the city needs to do right by city workers that have stepped up, have given their time, and are now faced with just the loss of colleagues and vacancies. I know this firsthand at the San Francisco Public Utilities Commission, how short-staffed we are across our enterprises as we're trying to deliver essential services. And I really think, the city needed to plan for this and didn't. And we have to staff up. We have to fill these vacancies. We also need to make sure that we're not filling these vacancies with temporary positions, but making sure that they're permanent. This has always been a dance around the hiring process and DHR of filling a lot of positions with PEX positions that expire in 2 to 3 years. We really need to be building and offering permanent jobs for folks and commit to the kind of workforce development and training that allows people to join city service and be with us and for the long term, right? I mean, I think we're seeing the results of, I think, all of these temporary positions and expirations happening all at once and where that leaves us. So just really support the leadership and on this Zoom call and amongst colleagues present here, and just we'll continue to support this effort as negotiations continue with everyone here. Thank you.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. Member Avalos.
I wasn't going to say anything on this, but I was kind of triggered by hearing from Supervisor Mar and Member Mar about how this problem has existed for a number of years. It actually existed when I was first, watching the city budget back in the 2000s. Every year, the city departments don't staff up so they can save money. So at the end of the year, they're able to actually show cost savings, and then they come in under budget, and then they start the process the next fiscal year to do it all over again. And so there's an intention that's here not to staff up, not to actually carry out the staffing for mission-driven budgets in San Francisco. And it's a real problem about how the executive branch squirrels away money to balance budgets rather than actually carrying out what the public pays for out of our taxes and fees that we pay. So I'm fully in support of this resolution, and I appreciate the hard work that our labor allies are doing to make sure that we can carry out the actual services of the city and county of San Francisco.
Thank you, Member Avalos. Colleagues, I don't see any other hands. I'm wondering if we can take this by acclamation.
There's not yet been a motion, so
sorry.
I'll offer a motion to support this by acclamation.
Second.
Thank you, colleagues. All those in favor, say aye.
Chair, there's a hand raised.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Nope, sorry, go ahead.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Any abstentions?
Senator Wiener would like to abstain.
Thank you very much. Mr. Persons? Any other abstentions? Great. Colleagues, that motion passes. Thank you all for your support on that resolution. We are now at new business. Is there anyone who would like to introduce something for new business? Seeing none, and my partner is just getting home, so apologies. Seeing none, we will then move on to item number 19, which is adjournment. We do have a couple in memoriams tonight. The first one is for, let's see, the first one is for Madeleine Albright, who died today at the age of 84. She was an immigrant from Czechoslovakia, and she was the second woman to serve as U.S. ambassador to the UN and the first woman to be U.S. Secretary of State, making her the highest ranking woman in the history of American government at the time. She served as a counselor to President Jimmy Carter and as a foreign policy advisor to 3 presidential candidates, as well as Geraldine Ferraro, the first woman to run for vice president. I would also like to offer an in memoriam for Anna Damiani, who died on February 25th at the age of 65. She was an out and proud, and also sometimes loud, lesbian who made District 8 her home for over 40 years. She worked as a technician and later as an operator at Pacific Bell. And she also pushed the company to expand marketing strategy for the LGBTQ community at a time where that wasn't necessarily popular. She also ended up working for nearly 15 years in the state government for Assemblymember Kevin Shelley, and also as a district representative for Assemblyman and then State Senator Mark Leno. And she has also been a huge part of the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club here in San Francisco, of which I am a member and on the board. So I would like to also offer an in memoriam for Anna Damiani. And I would also open it up to the rest of my colleagues if they have any in memoriams that they would like to offer.
Hi, yes. I have an in memoriam. On February 25th, Officer George Alvarado was killed in duty. George was going to be my brother-in-law. He was engaged to be married actually this past St. Patrick's Day, and him and his high school sweetheart, who's my excuse me. George was going to be married to my family friend and sister-in-law. And anyway, they had been together since high school, and he had served in after graduating high school. Sorry, catching my thoughts. Like, he was a San Francisco native, born and raised here, and after high school served in the United States Army in the 101st Airborne Division and served in Afghanistan. Upon coming back from his service, he was recognized for his public service and enrolled in the Monterey Peninsula Police Academy and was hired by the Colma Police Department, where he served for about 4 years. And then in August of 2020, he transferred to the Salinas Police Department. So just wanting to he was 30 years old and a veteran, and so I'm just wanting to adjourn this meeting in his memory as well.
Thank you, Member Lacroix and Vice Chair Lacroix, and I'm sorry for your loss and condolences to your family. Colleagues, is there anyone else who would like to offer an in memoriam? Seeing none, we will now adjourn this meeting. Thank you so much for your participation, and we will see you next month. Take care and have a good night.